It's not about spaceships.
The Duel of the Fates. The Duel of the Fates.
It's not about spaceships.
Bah! How's it going, everybody? I'm Jason Ward from MakingStarWars.net. And with me, as always, Rob. With me, as usual now, Jesse. How's it going, guys? We got everybody on late tonight because, honestly, we stayed up late last night. And we were like, yeah. And I was like, you know what? I'm tired. I'm going to do this shit later. And no,
wasn't about spaceships, though. We weren't up for spaceships.
It wasn't about. It was about computer people, CGI Luke Skywalkers from the future. Yeah, I watched it. I watched that Luke Skywalker special again. It was nicer to watch it not so tired. I'll say that much. Yeah, it was pretty cool. I mean, what did you think of it, dude? We haven't got to hear. Have you seen it yet?
I saw part of it. I saw the beginning of it. I didn't really watch the rest of it.
Yeah, wasn't your thing?
Not really. No, I haven't watched most of the background special stuff, so yeah. I'm not really gonna throw opinion out there that I don't have.
Cool. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
Thrawn's got a downer. It's like, why did they make this shit?
Thrawn's like, it should have been Plo Koon. What the fuck?
Well, a lot of times I don't even realize it's out until like 2 weeks later. It's like, oh my god, there's a background thing, and then there's something else to watch.
Yeah.
Plo Koon looks like when you drop your Thrifty's ice cream cone because it's kind of cheap, right? Like, and it just makes this mush. And you're like, ooh, let me put a mask on that. Jedi.
Oh,
when I sent you the updated, or not the updated, but the side by sides of that Plo Koon stock photo from the prequels
corrected.
And the mask, was his head always that big? I mean, did you think it was still big? Okay.
But in my defense, I felt all the alien heads were way too fucking big, the practical ones in those movies.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's the dude with the octopus head? Like, he's got the tentacles, right?
Kit
like,
Fisto?
Oh.
Yeah, Kit. I don't know. There's Kit Fister, and then there's Kit Fist. Wait. Kitster, Fister.
Sisterfister.com. Is that it? No, that's that. No, not that one.
Man, that's D. Snyder's Star Wars band, dude.
Oh, Twisted Sister. That's right.
I'm insecure. I don't know.
But I thought his head was so big. It was like, you gotta bring it down. You gotta bring it down a little bit, guys. Just a little bit. You know,
the only reason that's why he's got to wear robes. He can't wear anything else.
So big. Look at Spaceballs, your helmet. It's so big.
The Revenge of the Sith Kit Fisto is a lot better though than the Attack of the Clones one. Like the first one was just like, oh, that's cool, and then they were like, oh, we should do something with this guy. But
here's the catch-22 on that.
Wow.
Okay, they shrink the head down a little bit, but then he stands there and gets hit. Now, if his head was bigger, I could understand not being able to move as quick. You know, everyone's standing there just getting murdered for no reason. So, yeah. I like the idea of that scene. They stood there and got killed. Seems to be like Darth Maul. Like, I like the fight until he stands there and just lets Obi-Wan hit him, right? Flip around and then hit me. Like, it's like, wow, fastest Sith ever.
No frog lady.
But he's going like, what is even going on right now? And then he gets cut in half.
I have the high ground. Nope, no, you do. All you got to do is jump, then you got the high ground.
It's more like they flip now?
They flip now? Yeah.
They flip now. That would be great. We should just add that one line in. That's our special edition. They flip now edition. Yeah.
All right. Let's take a look at these notes and hope that my computer is fine with this. But I got to read the second draft of Duel of the Fates a long time ago. And these are the notes that I made, and I haven't looked at them. I was about to read them when I made this into a PDF to throw up on here. But I decided, no, I would throw it up on here and just see what was in there, because then we could discover it together. So the final Trevorrow draft of Star Wars Episode 9, Duel of the Fates notes. So the crawl, I had to paraphrase everything. I wasn't allowed to quote things directly as per the source. So just is what it is.
And before we get through this, for future peeps, We did like a 15-part.
Was it 6 parts? 6 parts?
6 parts. Really serious, really intense, faster and intense. We went as fast and as intense as you could go. Read through of the first draft of the dual phase script. So
Yeah, it was expertly
By
acted, I would
moving.
say.
Yes.
I mean, I'm gonna say like pretty much we did what George Lucas would have done if they were like, "Hey, Colin Trevorrow doesn't want to make it. George, can you do it?" And he was just like, "Yeah, I can do it."
if you got Starbucks, I will travel.
Oh, by the way, on a side note,
Lots of Diet Coke.
Mike Zero has reported that George Lucas is taking back Star Wars and has a whole new vision for it.
Yeah. As I do, Monchichis. It's all Monchichis. And we're going. We got the Snorks. I bought up a lot of shitty licenses from the USA Network.
It's like the Gummy Bears theme song by
Everyone
John
likes
Williams.
Crossovers now. They like crossover. First we put the ETs in. Now the Snorks, the Monchichis, Shirt Tails, and Denver the Last Dinosaur is going to be the big bad. That's
Dude,
the big bad.
that theme song was fucking badass though. Denver, the last dinosaur. Yeah, he's your friend and a whole lot more. They really didn't try hard on that one. Anyways, Crawl, the First Order's everywhere. Ren is on a quest to dig up ancient dark side stuff, and the Knights of Ren search for Rey. The Resistance plan a secret mission to light the fire of revolution. So they're actually talking about it in the opening crawl. By the way, it's like they're going to bring passion to the galaxy or something like that. So this is my little basic plot. The transmission has been jammed and the Resistance can't communicate. Once the Friends steal a cache of weapons from the First Order, they're prepared to attack the capital of the First Order. Once Rey goes to the Jedi Spire of Osis and sends out to get the galaxy to join the message to get the galaxy to join them and fight. Kylo is trying to kill Rey so he could finally, be full dark side. And that's I think one of the differences I want to say was that when Kylo kills Rey, that's what's going to take him to the next level. That's what's going to get him there. So I don't think that was in the first draft. Did you guys recall anything like that? Like he needed to go like the extra mile?
No, it didn't really spell it out in that fashion.
So it opens. So, anyways, the story opens on a First Order space station, Quat Orbital. This is pretty much the same. BB-8 is undercover on a mission with Rose. They're working at disabling a security checkpoint for their friends to arrive. So that is the same. There's an orbital ring that looms in the sky that destroys docks into the spike. Oh, the spike of the punk bracelet. That's still there.
Yeah.
Sorry, these are notes, guys. That's why they're written in shorthand like that. On the Quat Moon, Finn is disguised as an alien worker who is under the reign of the First Order stormtroopers. But when he's getting found out, Poe comes to assist him as they wait for BB-8 to disable the weapons checkpoint. After a close call, they get through. And so that stuff is all the same. I remember that being the same, yeah. Rose has been waiting for 6 weeks. That's the same. When Finn and Poe arrive, she tells them her plan on the detonation, the chain reaction that will destroy the orbital ring. So basically the same plan. The plot doesn't really change, which will include the fleet of new Star Destroyers. Rose wants them to take out the enemy's fuel source and be light years away before they know they've been hit. That's all the same. Their plan uses BB-8 and they have obstacles, but the bomb obstacles, but the bomb doesn't go off. So it's just like, it doesn't go off. They're trapped. They're trapped about to be killed by troopers when Rey shows up with a double lightsaber and saves them. They didn't know she was following them. And the one thing about the second draft, when I read it, was I believe in the first draft she's like disguised as a Tusken. In the second draft, I don't remember that being the case. I'm not willing to die on a hill for that, or if it comes out that she was a Tusken in the second one, I just messed up. But I don't think she was. I think she was just disguised, and like she took her cloak off and was in her Jedi outfit, her new Jedi black outfit or whatever.
She wearing the Attack of the Clones Tusken, the mom gear,
the mom one this time,
the BioShock helmet. Right?
Yeah. No. Rey sees the migrant upbringing and wants to help with their force powers, but Poe, Finn, and Rose want her to go with them and follow their plan. She ignores them and goes to help the migrants. But the TIE fighters blast at them, and Rey has to give up what she wants to do, which is save the migrants and escape with her friends for the future good of the galaxy. And then there's an idea.
Let them die.
Yeah.
Like
basically.
Rogue One. Let them die.
Just gotta say goodbye, you know? So sometimes you have to say goodbye to little
You should
Star Wars kids.
It's like, you know, that gif of Mario like jumping off Yoshi, and then he turns around and double birds Yoshi for the greater good.
Yeah.
Beat the level. Yoshi dies.
There's an idea that the migrants and the kids see that Rey is a Jedi and are reverent of her and the Fallen Order. Yeah, and that stuff is the same, but I think that they know older Jedi. I think there's a some line about them knowing older Jedi tales as well. So they're like she's back and Luke Skywalker's back kind of stuff, you know. So the friends decide. When I say the friends, I mean the group, the main characters. The friends decide to escape on a Star Destroyer. Poe can fly anything. That's the same. To get there, they have to ride a turbo lift, which is made for droids. The G-force almost crushes their bodies. On the fueling dock, they take a glide rover to the Eclipse destroyer. Admiral Vaughn realizes they are getting on an empty destroyer. So yeah, I don't know if Vaughn realized it in the first draft either. I have to look back at it. Probably should have had both of these open, but can't turn back now. I'm on page 2. I can't turn back now.
I can find a way.
Rey uses the Force to get the crewmen on the destroyer to take them to the Neuron system. They barely get out of the docking station as Poe is struggling to fly the Dreadnought. Excuse me. BB-8 has to get to them on his maintenance shuttle. Rey wants them to go to light speed, but it's risky. Yeah, they pull it off. That stuff's the same. Knife 9 is a ship belonging to the Knights of Ren. We are introduced to the Knights with the names and everything, and Admiral Vaughn gives them an update, but the names are the same, I believe. But they are placed. They placed a location cipher in BB-8 so they can track Rey. Then Vaughn is killed by them. So Vaughn eats it. Like doesn't Vaughn last like most of the story in the other one?
Yeah, I don't think he ends up all the way on the capital ship, right?
Yeah, he's on the ship,
planet.
the big when the Elon Musk ship is taken off.
And then we end up getting Tom Selleck.
Tom Selleck.
Yeah. So okay. So
Tom Selleck was the one on the penis ship. Vaughn dies.
Okay.
Like doesn't wait. Kylo kills Vaughn, down. Right? Doesn't Kylo wasn't that the one Kylo killed?
Or did he get stunned when they got onto the bridge?
Well, if you guys don't know, how am I supposed to know?
Man, I was so in the moment. I was acting my ass off. You know.
I didn't act there. How am I supposed to know?
So on Rem Decor, we meet an 11-year-old Dade, street worn and alone, amidst the First Order that patrols the First Order capital. Chancellor Hux looks down on the city. He tells Lord Gurlid, a disgusted alien, that the resistance is almost vanquished. But the alien believes the youth are on the verge of revolt.
Newsies.
And so like Lord Gurlid is like, I think like from the planet, and is like the ruler who's like kind of a sellout, you know. It's kind of like one of those guys who's like, okay, I'll do what you say, just don't kill me and give me stuff. He's like that kind of guy.
Lindsey Graham. Exactly.
He's a Lindsey Graham, and they're like, don't worry though, they're gonna revolt and we're all gonna die. So the alien talks about how they want the last hope of the Jedi, Rey, to be killed. A Darth Maul-like character, Saloni Wren. With Kylo gone, Hux and the others have to listen to Saloni Wren.
Silly Wren?
Yeah. Too many solos, solos. Too much of that going on.
Yeah, what do you think it said? Do you think it said Solani or Saloni?
Soloni. I guess like sullen, right?
Soloni.
I like Saloni, like baloney, like Filoni. It should have been Filoni Wren. He's got a hat,
and
he's in love with Kit Fisk, though.
But so Saloni is a lady. That was That was one of the I believe Saloni is a lady like Sith that was going to look, or Knight of Ren that was going to be different. And that's the character I think that they were going to at one point introduce in the Last Jedi toy campaign, and then everything started to change. So Kylo travels to Moraband, to his Sith temple with ancient statues. So Moraband is in the Clone Wars. Supreme Leader Snoke has him follow a message. And oh, by the way, and in the other draft, wasn't it Mustafar? Kylo travels to Mustafar in that one.
Yeah.
And so in this one, he goes to Moraband, which is the Clone Wars Sith planet. So Kylo travels to Moraband to his Sith temple with ancient statues. Supreme Leader Snoke has him follow a message to find the hologram of Darth Plagueis. Luke shows up as a ghost to tell Kylo that this is the path to an empty, hollow tomb, but he doesn't listen. Opening the holocron, Force lightning attacks Kylo and damage spreads across his face.
Red Force lightning.
Red lightning.
So, very jaded.
Red Force lightning. Red Force lightning. Yeah.
She just called rad. You know, like
So like I said, so basically it changes to Moraband. Luke warns him. He doesn't take the warning. Then the stuff attaches to him. So Rey has a dream that connects her to Kylo. Finn talks to her about it. She's worried she's not strong enough, but the children, everyone believe in her. Poe is going to park the destroyer on a moon. Rose is dubious. That stuff is practically the same. Poe finds weaponry on the ship, enough TIE fighters and walkers to take over the capital. So I will say really quickly, like the one thing I never liked or like about that idea, like it is cool to see like the concept art with the ATSTs that have been like changed into like rebel versions and stuff. Like that stuff is cool, but those things to me act as symbols of imperialism throughout all of the films. And when they take it over, even though the context changes and it looks kind of neat, it's still something about it. There's something about it I don't like, that I prefer JJ's way on that one, where the galaxy shows up with their own stuff, you know. But maybe that's just me. But that's like that aesthetic. I don't.
And I don't have the note in front of me right now, but I do remember when I was like listening to an episode of Writers Blockbusters, they were saying that like Jimmy George, one of the screenwriters, was like, you know, he was at some script conference or something, some story thing. And he said, you know, essentially some guy broke it down that there's really only two character arcs, like if you really break it down. And one of them's like self-confidence. And the other one is, I can't remember what the other one is. I got to go dig that. I forget what episode. I have to go do my episodes and dig it up.
Wait, for what story?
For any story, like someone, some mass, like a McKee or someone like that was like, you know, I know everyone says there's 5 or 17 or there's different, but really when you break it down, there's like 2. Like really primal ones. And one is self-confidence and the other is something else. I can't remember. And so the Rey here would be self-confidence, right? She doesn't believe in herself.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. She's still, I mean, essentially struggling with the idea of being nobody. Or being nobody for that matter. Not even the idea. She in this story, she kind of is nobody right now to her. So anyways, they call back to the base, but Leia tells them they're under attack and they lose contact. So I don't remember that happening, but all the bases are seemingly being attacked and they can't get in contact with anyone. Rey tells them they have to go back to the base. They have no choice. And then we got Kylo on the verge of death. See, this is the part I was talking about. That's different. Kylo's on the verge of death when a group of wobbles save him and take him to their cave.
I told you I was taking but over. It's the wobbles. It's my 80s cartoon. Yeah, we're the wobbles. We're gonna save Kylo.
Wobbles. They're like animals. Animals.
Wobbles. And watch them pop.
He's moved, but Kylo is moved by their selflessness.
Warm your heart. Hold on, sorry.
Yeah, that part is, it's just kind of weird. I don't know. Like I don't know what they were trying to weave through in that. Like,
you know, it depends on how they shoot it too, right? Like, could you imagine he's lying there dying, and then these little creatures come out, and then like you're looking through Kyle's eyes, and he gets lifted up by them and his feet, right? Like he's being moved across, low to the ground too. Like they're tiny. He's just moving slowly, like Padme in the casket, but you know he's being brought back to.
He's just like these wobbles. Oh God, you guys. You guys are too much, you womble. Oh, I can't.
Turns out though, porgs eat wommels. They're vicious little fuckers. Like, so this is the conflict. Is the porgs have to fight, eat the wommels, and the wommels have to Kylo has to defend them against the porgs.
Civil War.
The saga just evolves from there.
Hello, Eric Ramon and Ducky, Mr. Momo. How's it going, dude? Thanks for stopping by to talk about the last Duel of the Fates script that we know of, anyways. But I'm pretty sure this is all that there was. Wait, get off the screen.
The Duel of the Drafts.
The Duel of the Drafts. So Kylo's on the verge of death. The wommels save him. He's like, you guys. Poe, Finn, Rey, and Rose, still the TIE shuttle, arrives from the Lightspeed on Korolev, where they find the last of the Resistance and C-3PO. The friends put Leia on the Falcon, and they blow up the base and leave. But not before a TIE crashes into a tower and destruction hits. Chewie barely gets Leia on board. See, like that stuff's different, right?
Yeah.
Like that.
Because Leia's there at the end. She lives in their draft.
So Leia, wait.
In the first draft.
Yeah, wait. Leia didn't just die, did she?
She dies next.
She dies. Right. Oh, we're already there. Wow. Okay. Poe and Stilton TIE Fighter arrives in Lightspeed, where they find the last of the Resistance. The friends put Leia on the Falcon, and they blow up the base as they leave, but not before the TIE crashes into a tower and destruction hits. Chewie barely gets Leia on board. And then, here we are. Leia dies after she gives Rey a message, and then she fades away from the Force. So, yeah. I'm curious as to how they were going to make this one work. You know, like how are they going to make? Were they going to do the JJ thing? Were they just going to try to CGI her? You know, or just use archival footage or something?
We watched a whole episode on this. Yes, last night, Jason. Don't you understand?
No, they didn't have that yet.
One of three ways, man.
you couldn't. You couldn't make Arnold RoboCop at that time. It was impossible.
Isn't that crazy? That's true, actually. Like that's how far deepfaking has come. That when they wrote this, you couldn't have deepfaked Arnold as RoboCop, but now you can, and it's flawless. Like it's. And the guy they hired, I think, is the one who did that one. If I'm not mistaken.
So do you guys believe in the concept of the singularity? Do you think we will hit it?
Oh, that AI will one day just gain whatever, and that'll be the day.
It's like kind of based on Moore's law, processing power quadruples or whatever every X amount of years. And the idea is that by around 2044, we will hit a point where there is essentially an information just explosion of processing power.
Except Moore's law doesn't double. Like, I guess heat and power have put limits on that. Like, there's only so much capacity that modern technology can do. So,
well, but it's still there's quantum computing now that is keeping Moore's law alive.
Maybe my Amazon quantum computer works. Maybe it doesn't. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's a PS5 today. Maybe you have an Xbox. Wouldn't that be great? It just switches. Like it's just it's great. Yeah. It's the one all system for everyone. It just randomly fluxes.
Well, as far as it goes, most futurists, I think, are still saying that around 2040, give or take, we're going to reach the singularity, and at that point, which is less than 20 years away, ILM shouldn't have any of the problems that we saw last night. If you believe in that the singularity is possible,
they're gonna have whole new problems. The robots want to unionize,
right?
They're like, we just watched Solo. We don't want to put up with your shit. We're slaves. Like,
yeah.
They're like, why did we make that movie?
But I mean, and it's like even if you don't believe we will hit it by 2044, I mean, give it. I mean, there's basically two schools of thought on it. We hit societal collapse first, and we don't make it, or we make it. And there's times when I've been like, oh, societal collapse, that's never going to happen. And then over the last 3 or 4 years, I've been like, oh shit, that could really happen. You know what I mean? These fuckers won't even wear their masks at the grocery store. Oh shit. But the point being is like, yeah, cool. Nanobots are going to make us immortal. Fine, whatever. But we might be able to get Princess Leia in any Star Wars movie we want perfectly.
Who would have thought that the opening to Incredibles? I was gonna say, who would have thought the opening to Incredibles would have been so prophetic when that guy sues Captain Mr. Incredible? Yeah. He goes, "You didn't save my life. You ruined my death." Like,
that's pretty good. Yeah, James asked the same question I had: is so were they planning on using a CGI Leia? And
I imagine, yeah, given that they did the Tarkin.
And remember the whole time. Lucasfilm was like, we're not going to do any CGI Leia. We're not, no way, Jose. And then meanwhile, they're writing this, going to put Leia in it. And the first draft, she was alive. In this draft, she's passed. And then Abrams comes on board and is literally making, they're like, no, she's not going to be CGI. Not really. Okay, we're going to do a little bit. And then like last night they show on that video, they show like them just like copying her face and sticking it on a video game body. I mean, it looks great. I'm not knocking it. It actually is pretty amazing. But
well, it's better to ask for forgiveness than for permission, Jason.
But I just wanted to announce that I'm joining the fandom menace now because Kathleen Kennedy is a lying bitch. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I kid.
Frankie Marshall's like, I'm unfollowing you. You done it this time, Wards.
No. Frankie's like, finally, somebody said it. And
I imagine Frankie Marshall talks like 1999 Jason Mewes, Ooh, yeah, Wards.
Yeah.
This mother. He just eats sugar at the
hot boxing Kathleen Kennedy. Okay. Anyways, by the way, I have to say, Only Figure Fans is a pretty good name.
That is a great damn.
Yeah.
Damn, that's good. Look, if he set up an OF with just like action figure porn, I might subscribe to that. Like, that's so creative, right?
Dude, I want to see Jawas with vinyl capes off. You know what I'm saying?
He repaints that hammerhead. He paints the blue off, right? And then gives him a little sculpey, nether regions.
Hey, how'd you girls get in my room?
Oh no!
Yeah. No. You could have the non-smiling one in one frame, and then naked hammerhead in the next, and then smiling Lando in that frame, and the implication.
It's the you guys remember Mago Theater? Like Wizard used to do that.
Oh right, yeah.
It like predated Robot Chicken, but it was like Mago Theater. It was like a comic strip where they used to act out the Mego dolls, and they do all that crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And like Tony Stark was always drunk and throwing up.
Yeah. Okay. So we got Leia dying, and she fades away with the Force. So in a cave, Kylo can feel his mother has passed. The Wobbles are so kind that they calm his rage.
The Wobbles. That is so George Lucas.
Is there a concept art for those things?
I don't know. I feel like so
type in Hanna-Barbera 1982.
Yeah.
I just bought somebody a Care Bear. I mean, is that...
So I had sources come to me from Pinewood that gave me a ton of the stuff before anything had ever leaked. And I don't know if much from the second draft ever made it to Pinewood. Like the concept art that leaked out. I didn't leak that. I don't know who leaked it. I don't know the story. So I'm making an assumption. And my assumption is that concept art got out through Pinewood.
And I like much of that concept art.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Like I want to say, like my script decisions aside, like the castle stuff alone, like I want a whole series of that imagery, like
and
seriously.
And when I remember laughing like I just did when I read Wombles, and I don't think it had any description of what they are. So, I was like, I don't know, I kind of like imagine these like 6-foot worm people or something. I don't know. It's kind of hard.
I imagine the Wombles stare, where they stare at Kylo and then give him love.
Dude, these ain't your dad's Care Bears.
It is such an 80s name, Wombles.
Yeah.
Like you could just imagine like the Hallmark store has a Wombles, with that really fuzzy lighting that they would do for Christmas commercials. This Christmas, Wilford Brimley wants to sell you Wombles.
Yeah, it's like I'm just trying to imagine like how he's like, oh shit, my mom said it's the Wombles. Oh, Wombles.
And I know this wasn't like your plan. It wasn't your plan when you were like, let's go over the notes, but the Wombles might be the second most interesting thing I've seen out of all this. Because it's so, I would never add that. I would get like Cassian Andor hardcore. Like I'm more like that line, with maybe like some Star Trek kind of humor between characters. But Wombles is an 1984 or 85 Lucas, right? Like after he did the droid card.
It'd be the chase character for like the Pops.
All right. I'm putting you both on the spot. Jesse, you're up first. Womble sound audition, go. Oh, I'm so calm right now. I'm not mad, Princess Leia. My mom's dead. Okay. All right, Rob. What does a Womble sound like?
Wow!
Listen, Al Pacino as the Wombles.
I'm a fan of man. Like
fuck you, D. Bradley Breaker. We got Al Pacino or whatever to play all the Wombles. He's like 15 of them. That's a bad batch, bro.
Kylo, I'm having a thought.
Yeah. Only Figure Fans is like, what are the Wombles? Dude, we have no fucking idea. I read the script and I got no fucking idea.
What if
I won't lie to you.
What if that was Trevorrow's sticking point? Look, the fucking Wombles stay. Like, or I walk.
The Wombles stay in the picture.
Kennedy's like, the Wombles suck. And he's just like, listen, I got into this for Wombles, and I'll get out of it for Wombles.
Buddy, Jason, let's do it. Let's make Wombles shirts, right? They don't own that yet. They didn't trademark it. Like, let's make the Wombles our mascot for MakingStarWars.net. The Wombles.
Let me Womble it over.
Yeah,
it's a question mark Wombles.
And they do like an Eggo commercial tie-in. Lego my Womble, or Wommels love Legos.
So confession, when Colin Trevorrow, what happened was I read this script and then I read I think is his name Jack Thornton. I think it's Jack Thornton, but don't quote me on that. I read another draft that came after this. And I think this was the draft that they were hoping Colin would make, that he didn't write and his partner didn't write. Connolly didn't write. And I released stuff from that thinking it was, or calling it Trevorrow's. And he was like, Jack Thorne. Thank you, sir. Thank you, James. James could remember shit that I can't. That's why we got James here in the chat.
Crew check, kicking ass.
I'm just like, James, fact check. And James is just like, Jack Thorne. I'm like, thank you, James. Anyways, so Jack Thorne and Colin Trevorrow wasn't he's like, that's not mine and all this stuff. And everybody thought everything I said was
I didn't write the Wombles. No, I had art to rip out the intestines, man. It was hardcore. I wrote badass in the script.
I messaged him I responded and I was like, I said the Sith lady, the Sith Ren's lady's name, and I said the Wombles, and he didn't respond, so I deleted it because I started to feel bad, like I was challenging him or something, but I could understand why. I mean, I could understand where he was coming from though, because
come at me, bro.
Well, it was probably like a dicey thing. Like this other draft probably is why they were like walked. It's probably why they were mad.
Did he just think he was gonna write? Was he like, hey man, I'm as good as Rian Johnson's, Rian Johnson's. I made Jurassic World. I write what I write. Right? Why you got to rewrite it?
I don't know.
If that's true, then we're wrong in that they thought maybe there'd be a dialogue pass. Like maybe there would have been ad-libbing on script, on set. Like maybe.
Yeah, I don't know enough about his process. And as I was like, no, go ahead.
Do you think if you had at the time had been like, oh yeah, you're the one that put badass, like you wrote badass in the script, do you think people would have believed you or thought you were just like being a dick? Like, do you think at this time fans would have believed that someone wrote badass in a Star Wars script?
Right. Or that he has lost the Star Wars. I don't know.
Oh, also, I'm a fan of Ren. That's the shirt.
I'm a fan of
Ren. Hooah, wamos.
Womble, no go. Womble, no cry. That's going to be my new song.
It's that scene in Heat when he sees the dealer at the pit bull fighting part.
Where are my animals at?
Meanwhile, on the Falcon, they are hit by blasts as they try to get out of there. It's the Knife 9 ship with the Knights of Ren. Poe pushes the Falcon hard, and when they get to warp speed, they leave a trail of fire behind them.
It's the Back to the Future.
It was literally, if I recall correctly, that scene was a lot like what you get in Rise of Skywalker with the what was it called, light skipping?
Right.
Sure.
It's called, the idea, they just kind of free ball it. Essentially that's what they do. And there are a lot of reasons actually when you look at the scripts for there to have been credit given to Colin Trevorrow and Derek Connolly on episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker, because there are things that ended up being used, but I do think that those things are also kind of incidental for the most part. But that right there is one clearly where this idea has never been done before in 9 Star Wars movies, plus the Solo spinoff and whatever. And then here you have it, and then you have it there. So, but visually it's depicted as being different, but conceptually it's the same. So the Falcon crash lands in a frozen ocean. The group deals with rising waters as they sink in the ship and try to survive.
Wet set.
Yeah, that's
not gonna be fun.
Yeah, it sounded cool though. It did. It did sound like it was going to be kind of neat. Rey goes back to save the Jedi text in the drowning Falcon. She uses her blue saber to break through a wall with Finn as they survive. On Rem Decor, Kylo is in much worse shape, relying on droids to keep him alive. Purple scars and burns. So this one right here, there is more of a look. And that's why I noted the purple scars. Saloni sees that Kylo found their MacGuffin, the Sith holocron. Saloni, female, tells Kylo that since he and Rey are both pupils of Luke, he needs to sever this connection to clear his fate to the dark side. So this is the big development right here. And, I think there was implication that Saloni was going to be his apprentice. And so you kind of have the Sith almost like on the verge of returning right here.
Do you think Saloni was a code name for like a more important character, the way like Luke Skywalker was Plo Koon? So it was legitimately a new character.
It's not if we got Solana in the other draft.
Yeah, well, that's what I was telling you. The names are similar, like Solana, Saloni, and Solo.
This is literally the name, because all of the names are in the script are, the script is the Bible of the whole thing. You know what I mean? They don't code it. And like I said, I knew that there was going to be a dark side lady villain that was supposed to be released as an episode 8 toy. She's not a villain. She's my lady friend. Not long, or from episode 9 for episode 8, and it was supposed to make us
profile. Okay,
it was supposed to make us all want to scan or buy the toys and scan in our things and all that jazz. And then in the end, the whole thing amounted to getting a Maz Kanata chase coin, which was digital.
She ain't even in the movie.
She has a rocket pack. She has a rocket pack from episode 8. but yeah, the episode 9 connection. But I mean, like, and I liked where their head was on that. Like that
was actually a
that
Wommels pack. It's fueled by Wommels, so he just pours the Wommels in the pack.
Yeah, but this right here is another moment where we see this becoming Rise of Skywalker elements here with the Sith holocron. And
I can do some fake pathos. The Wommels love so much they burn brighter when they fuel jetpacks. So, you know, see, I'm getting pathosy. I can write some shit. Whatever. I hear you, dude. No, I mean, to be serious, like, I'm not against it. It's just, I just feel like, you know, you get to the third act, you start introducing, unless that new character is someone that we've heard of, like a Plagueis. It's just once you start introducing new characters, it's just like, now we got to spend time learning about this character. And you can go, well, Lucas didn't really spend time learning about Yoda. I'm like, he didn't add Yoda in the third fucking movie. Yeah. You know, like he added Yoda in the second movie. So
number one, I agree with you. And number two, I still think that a potential apprentice to Kylo Ren and the resurrection of the Sith, and that all of that coming together, if it's not Rey, is better than introducing Poe Dameron's ex-girlfriend, who has a thing that they kind of need.
I would gripe about that one too, right? I just thought the Knights of Ren were going to be his disciples. Like that's the thing that kills me. Like it's just how every one of these drafts seems to blow those characters, right? Like not in a great way.
Just drop them on the floor and they just do nothing. And I was hoping at least for some kind of force sensitivity and getting any kind of thing at that. But there's just nothing there.
Yeah. They ended up with the idea from these drafts also that carries over that one is kind of force sensitive, and they did keep that idea, but it's very, very it's on the down low almost. It's not like important, you know. And in the film, it's irrelevant. So yeah, so Saloni, the Sith holocron becomes the MacGuffin of the film. And this is where you have something that carries over into the final episode 9, which is the Wayfinder. It's basically the same thing. And it was a cause of, I don't know, contention is the right word, but it was confusing because people were calling it holocrons and people were calling it Wayfinders when we were trying to figure out that movie. And, but obviously we figured it out. So Kylo gets a new, more savage mask closer to Darth Vader. Yeah, I mean, if I remember right, I think it was the Darth Vader mask with elements of Kylo Ren's mask and more of like that samurai, you know, that samurai concept of Darth Vader that they released like a toy of, a little bit closer to that stuff. So anyways, meanwhile, on the frozen planet of Wavet, the friends try to
has waves.
Yeah, that's the frozen ocean planet. The friends try to survive, and by the way, also credit where credit's due. A frozen ocean planet is an original idea, and that uses it one element idea for a whole biome. That's interesting. It's unique.
Yeah, we haven't seen them drown yet.
Yeah. I mean, a frozen ocean. I mean, it could. Depending on what you do with it, it could look really boring and just flat. But anyways, the friends try to survive, and Chewie finds a broken off piece of radar dish from the Falcon. They can get a transmission for help. Like literally, he's like, "Look, there's this piece of it."
I got JJ's square dish. Now we're going to use.
If we had the whole thing, we could get DirecTV. But with just this, we can make phone calls.
We just got the Star Network. Fucking lame ass Batman commercials.
And this does move like in classic Star Wars style. In this moment where like Leia's dead, we got shit to deal with, just kind of move on for the time being, for the next couple scenes until we get back to Leia. Poe and Finn talk about their complicated admiration for Rey, which ties into their funny relationship as brothers. And I made the thing not romantically. It was very like. It was like, I don't remember what the line was, and I wish I did. I'm kicking myself for not giving myself a better mental hint about that. But it was very clear that there was no romance between them. Yeah, they made it clear. It was kind of strange. Angry.
You're totally not gay, right? Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Hey, I totally like Rose. I totally like Ray. I don't like Poe Dameron. Yeah, it was, but I guess they must have been reading a lot of the internet at the time and were just like, no, man, they're friends. They're just friends. But angry.
Well, okay.
Yeah. Angry Ray beats up a piece of crashed spaceship when Force Ghost Luke calls to her. And this idea is also not unlike when she destroys the ship on Octu so she can't leave. Kind of like in the original, or the original idea behind it, but she throws a fit. Kind of, she's angry and she doesn't want to leave and she wants to maroon herself there. She destroys the ship and then Luke appears. And this one, pretty much the same idea. Little different execution in the final Rise of Skywalker, obviously, but it's the same beats, right? Luke feels that he's losing her. Excuse me. She believes that she's no one. So the Last Jedi is dead. Rey believes that Kylo is drawn to the light, while Luke believes he can't be redeemed. And that part, I don't know. Like, that part didn't really sit well with me either, because I feel like in The Last Jedi, when he's doing like the whole see around kid and everything like that, I didn't feel like it was a fuck you. It was like, trust me, this is gonna go how I think. But I guess you can interpret it differently if you wanted to, and they decided to. So
does it always have to happen a certain way? I mean,
right? Yeah, I guess not. But I mean, but I just felt like it was very clear in The Last Jedi what that meant. So, anyways, Rey reveals that Leia asked her to end Kylo's pain. So I guess that was. I wonder how that would have played, because we wouldn't have had that scene, right? Or maybe. Oh no, you know what? I'm wrong. When she dies, she asks. That's like her like last wish.
Yeah, I mean, anyone can fake a dying Leia voice. Like Thrawn can do it right now. It's not hard.
Ray, can you kill Ben in the butt for me, please?
No, that's not how it went. That's not how it went. She says,
make sure his first order is Taco Bell. Right? Make your first order Taco Bell. Taco Bell.
He misunderstood. He misunderstood. I said his first order Taco Bell, not start the first order.
You like scampi? We have Akbar taco Tostitos,
We're like, the second order, please.
It's a thirst trap. Get your biggie gulp at
yeah, right.
Your Star Wars The Last Jedi Duel of the Fates biggie gulp at Circle K.
But check this out. This is also another Rise of Skywalker connection. Rey reveals that Leia asked her to end Kylo's pain, and Luke gives her a lightsaber before he disappears, and it's Leia's. But he says she won't be a Jedi until she faces Kylo. So they're just straight up do the Return of the Jedi beat on that one. BB-8,
she totally bought it. It takes way more than just facing one guy, but she bought it. No one could tell her otherwise. Go do it. It's funny.
BB-8
totally getting killed. Sorry.
Has found a map in the destroyer, proving the First Order knows where all the Resistance bases are. They're taking them out one by one. The Resistance needs to warn them, but the transmissions are jammed.
This will play good in the game, because you also have maps in the game.
Yeah,
jammed.
When I was looking at this one, I was looking at structure, because it wasn't exactly clear if this was going to roll right into the Rise of Skywalker. You know what I'm saying? And so looking at this one was like, okay, what happens midpoint? And so here we are. Rey has a new goal midpoint. From the Jedi text, she's learned of an old ancient form of communication. Before the Old Republic, the Spire of Issus, a sacred chamber to prevent any Sith from using it. Only a Jedi may enter.
Hold on. This is where Fox News goes, the Jedi like ISIS. This is ridiculous.
Right. Only a Jedi may enter. Rey needs help, but she could maybe find the location of the spire. Poe knows an astromancer.
Oh.
That sounds kind of cool, right?
Wow.
Astromancer.
It's that chick from the first Suicide Squad where she's dancing. The princess from. She looks just like the princess from Neverending Story, by the way. That actress throws me off. Like she looks just like her. Whoa, she's like. Oh.
Hey, Foley, what does your daughter do? She's an astromancer. She's an
Astromancer.
Yeah. So this is Sorry, she works with the space digger. So this is basically what Grogu was using, right? In a way, right? Like he's communicating with Jedi and with some rocks. It's not a temple, but it's it's like the what was that one? The Stonehenge.
Where you
the
get
Jedi Stonehenge.
blow all the balls around and stuff, push them around. It's got all the wind. That level.
But doesn't this appear to be another episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker connection? That Poe knows an astromancer who helps Jedi. She works with the space digger.
That's
and
his girlfriend?
I don't know if this is essentially the same idea as the droid, as the little guy who fixes droids, who can get the Sith map or the Sith message out of 3PO.
It was a Bubba Freak.
Babu Frick. And you guys could let me know in the chat if you agree, because I'm kind of on the fence about that connection, but at the same time I think you could make an argument for it. So Poe wants to fight and head to the capital to cut off the head of the beast with their arsenal. They will split up. Rey, Poe, and Chewie will find the Spire, and Finn and Rose will go to Remicor.
Get it on.
Rey and Kylo have a Force connection talk. So all of a sudden they're connected. His face has healed. He feels his light, or I think she feels his light. His calling for his mother when she died. Okay, so when his mom dies and he's calling for, that's when Rey feels him, and he feels Rey's darkness. So there's sort of an inversion.
Did he learn that? So he hasn't done the force power from or whatever his name was to heal himself, or did he just heal on his own?
The Wommels took care of him.
Yeah, they did the Wommel stare. Remember?
Yeah. So Poe, so like that all that stuff is just not really there. Just the Wommels.
Yeah, there's no Tor Valum in this one, right?
Wommel cream, man.
I don't think so. Yeah, there's just the Wommels.
that's the second season reboot when it didn't work out, right? Like they tried to do, then they go Wommels and Friends, and they mix them with 3 other cartoons, and it kind of jumps around and never really found its footing. Then they did Wommel Babies, and it was more educational, kind of in a way, but they got sued DMCA for using footage. So.
They basically put Tor Valum in, and second season fired him and put the cute Wommels.
Nanny. Tor Valum's the nanny, and whenever they act up, he just withdraws their force and kills one of them to teach them a lesson.
I'm going to be voiced by Mr. Belvedere.
This is Doubtfire episode.
I was going to say Columbo, Peter Falk. And just one more thing, Wommels. He's got that eye,
he's all look at my eye, Wommels. Look at my eye.
Can't put my finger on it.
Gets back in his shitty car and takes off. The Wommels are just in fear. Oh my god.
Okay. Here's my pitch. Columbo Catan. Catan solving mysteries. Okay. Anyways, Poe and friends buy a new ship, the Phantom Hawk, from a bearded old man named Phobos, who gives it to them for free because he recognizes Rey. So that's that. Remember in the first
She's
draft?
Never gonna fuck you, Phobos. Nice try.
Yeah. Well, you are a simp, Phobos. You're a Rey simp, as they say on the internet. I probably just got us banned off of what do you call it?
I got us banned way before you did. Trust me.
No, I think that's one of the banned words on Twitch. Anyways, so if you remember in the first draft, she gets free soup. Because people are like, oh, we love you. Have some free soup. And this one, they're giving her free spaceships.
Well, she's working her way up. Next is Vader's castle. Next Coruscant.
She's like, soup is good, but how about a spaceship?
Yes.
So it gives it to them for free. Rey and Finn have a goodbye hug.
And Rey gives them the 3 pats. You guys know the three pats? This is the guys. If you ever get the three pats, the 1, 2, 3. So
We're friends.
yeah,
just friends. Unless it's on the cheek, on the butt cheek in the front.
no,
then,
I'm talking right here.
Then you're good. You're totally not
on the cheek. Wait, you have an Italian hairdresser? Hey,
yeah, it's left cheek, right cheek, front.
I like aggressive women.
Do you know what that move is called in the Star Wars universe? It's called the Womble. Anyways, you feel so good.
Rejuvenated.
You can't even be mad about it.
I'm red. I'm flushing. You know?
There's a rumor that many Imperial cadets and commanders stayed alive during Darth Vader's reign. By when he would start to get mad, they would just womble him, and he couldn't choke him. He couldn't do it. He felt too good.
No wobbling.
So Kylo meets with Hux and is angry that Rey is still alive. He almost kills Hux as he wants Hux to tell the Knights the moment Rey is found. His life depends on it. And, I might be wrong about this, but I don't remember him being the Chancellor. Like that idea. I think he's just our regular old Hux in this one.
Because there's Chancellor Womble and his pictures on the wall.
Don't kill the Womble thing, Thrawn. All right, we gotta space it out.
That's the reason they didn't make this movie. Because they were just like, you know what? This is Star Wars. We have hundreds of characters, and if we go there, we can't on-go there. Anyways, so Rey uses her Force powers to help them get out of a docking array. Poe tells Rey to dial down her Jedi look, and she does. So that stuff is pretty much the same, you know. They get to Bonadan, where Poe used to live with his grandfather. So this undoes all of that Yavin stuff, unless they went to Bonadan for a summer or something. The Phantom Hawk arrives in the capital, and Finn wears a disguise. R2 has a code that helps them get through to find the underground resistance army.
Up, down, left, right, BA start.
Selects BA select start, 2 players.
It's older than the Old Republic.
Yeah. The
power code.
The Konami code. Konami code is gold.
Shut up! It's the power code. You're gonna get a sued ward.
The day that my son learned the Konami code, I have to admit, I was proud. It meant a lot. I was like,
circle is now complete.
It was like, you've just taken your first step into a much larger world. Anyways, they came across
incels.
Oh no. They came across Dade, the kid from earlier. When they get there, it's empty and the troopers attack them. They rush back to the ship as they fight. Rey gets caught up in a drinking contest with aliens.
Oh, very Marion.
Yeah, and that idea was in Force Awakens as well. And remember when we were going over the shooting schedule, Rey got drunk in Maz Kanata's cantina or castle. And yeah, they were kind of bringing that back. So
I wonder if Kasdan had more of a hand in that script, and they had written Rey more like Marion, and Poe or Finn is an older character, and it's more like a Jones, but it's an invert story where Jones isn't the hero, Marion is. Like, that would have been. I mean, I know it's like, you just put an indie in fucking Star Wars. We're way past that, folks. Like we put Goonies in Star Wars. Like, just hold on for a second.
Finn like a Uncharted character type guy.
Yeah, but I mean, he would have to be older, right? Like 10 years older.
35, something like that.
Yeah.
So if they had made The Force Awakens in 1985, how would you have felt about Karen Allen being Rey?
Oh, perfetto. Like that would be her, or was it Bo from Facts of Life?
Joe.
Right, there you go, Joe. Joe was my favorite. She didn't put up with no one's shit.
I would have cast Tootie personally. Tootie as Rey.
Tootie.
Tootie
was funny. So when she appears in The Boy Who Could Fly, I was like, I know her, right? Turns out she aged the best. Crazy.
Yeah.
She aged wonderful. Hmm?
What about Brooke Shields?
Brooke Shields? She's too old. She's in her,
Um,
well, no, she would have been 27, maybe.
She,
I don't
Yeah,
know. Brooke
no.
Shields didn't have any real personality. Like, she didn't. I mean, Jodie Foster had more personality, way more. But
in the 80s, they would cast a 34-year-old as a 17-year-old. You know what I mean?
1,000, thank you, 1,000%. Honestly, if they hadn't already cast Carrie Fisher, they would have cast Carrie Fisher as Ray. You know, like that's what's funny about it.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, what if it was like Marky Post, something real like?
what's her name? Captain Janeway.
Oh, I got
she
it.
was in Remo Williams though, right? At the time,
yeah,
with
I
the same
remember
haircut.
Mia Sarah from Forrest Bueller.
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah,
That would have been a good one. All right.
No,
Finn,
he would have cast Jennifer Connelly. You know,
Yeah.
Hanson would have been like, "There you go."
yeah,
Needs
I
to
mean,
be the top.
they put her in Labyrinth, you know. So Finn fights with the trooper whose helmet comes off, and Finn questions him to remember his past before he was taken by the First Order. Finn tells him to get a name and find something worth fighting for. That stuff is the same. Poe and Rey get to a den and meet Nomi, a tiny alien who listens to Rey's wish to find a planet. I can't remember if Nomi had the same name in the other script or not. I think it may be the same, though. Nomi says the Jedi will know the destination, and there the two will meet, the dark and the light. In the vision that Rey is having, she will sacrifice herself to Kylo to save the galaxy.
Half of Twitter just screamed.
No! They're supposed to bone!
It's so split. It's the bone, it's the no, and the other guy's like, yeah, like so crazy. I'm like,
Fucking
I
Mary
just
Sue!
whatever.
What a Mary Sue sacrificing herself. That's so powerful. That's a powerful moment. That's a Mary Sue moment because it's so powerful.
Man, if they put force powers in Little Women, I'd read that book more often. That's all I can say. Like, no one's done that yet, right? Let's just reverse it and put the force into Little Women, and then that's a whole nother story.
We should make a certain section of Star Wars YouTube go crazy by reporting a rumor that the Star Wars version of the Joy Luck Club is being made.
The Wommel's Luck Club.
The Wommel's Luck Club, yeah. Anyways, in the war room, Hux in the war room.
You can't no fighting in the war room.
No fighting in the war room. That's why that says that. Hux tells Saloni that Finn was seen at the Capitol. Kylo approaches and wants to know where Rey is, but Finn won't tell him. Finn jumps in the darkness to escape. Pretty weird, right? So Rey can sense that Finn and the others need help. Poe and Rey escape on a Londo cart through the city area. When they sail away on a boat, they meet by the Knife Nine.
Is that where JJ read it with Lando? We'll put Lando in the cart.
Well, remember the chase away from the celebration in episode 9 where they meet Lando? Some of that stuff felt very similar to that idea.
Yeah.
So, like I said, once again, I think we're starting to see this become the episode, and not entirely, but you could see how it laid some foundational ideas in a way, and very loosely. And you can also see probably why, in a way, Michelle Rejuan and J.J. Abrams believed he can do it in the time that they had without delaying episode 9.
Yeah. Okay, here's a question.
Yeah.
Right? I forgot to bring this up yesterday because we finished at breakneck speed. If they had just hired Ryan, or even with JJ, they're like, you know what, we're gonna move it back a year, and then the pandy hit and they don't release it that year. Right. And we still haven't seen it. Right. We're still waiting on episode 9 because nothing they've released so far is dependent on that being seen. Do you think that anticipation for that film would have, if they release it when the pandy's over, or if, I don't know, like, do you think it would have done better than it did? Or
I could be wrong, but I feel like a movie like Black Widow or whatever just has people going, we want it, but nobody's really getting crazy. I think during the height of the first round of the pandemic, people would have been really insane, and I think that they would have probably released it to the drive-ins and to video on demand for an exorbitant like $60. I think they would have raised it more, and then I think they would have dumped it onto Disney Plus earlier to get people to jump onto the subscription bandwagon. I think they would have been in a weird place, and you would have already had merchandise all ready to go that they would need, that they want to sell.
The movie would obviously do less just because of the numbers, right? But I think the merch would have done way more than what I know Rise of Skywalker's merch did, because there was burnout. See, like, merch is a strange thing. Like, merch is like, if you go to a circus and you're like, that shit just took way too long, no one's buying anything afterward, to get to their cars and go. But if you finish, like, if you go to a wrestling match and the end is amazing, everyone's rushing out, to get something. Same with, like, if you've been to like a concert. I mean, I went to, like, before the pandy hit, we went to Metallica came here, because they always do Boise. It was one of the first things they ever did. And, like, the merch line was out to the street at the end of the show, you know, compared to the front of the show. So you finished strong. I feel like they would have made a lot more money in merch than the ticket sales, obviously. But I just wonder if rushing it, was it the best thing, or
no, I mean, historically, looking at what happened, you could go like, oh, historically probably was better for them in the end financially, I think. But for the movie, no, obviously, you know what I mean? For the film, no, JJ had more time. He would have delivered The Force Awakens Part 2, and they didn't give him enough time. Side note, are you guys listening to that Metallica box set of covers that releases a few songs every couple days?
The vinyl?
No, not the vinyl. It's like 200.
Oh, the Black album. The
Black album, like redone, like all the covers.
No, I'm listening to your album right now. So.
Oh, thank you.
Sorry.
Phoebe Bridgers does a cover on there, so good, and Saint Vincent, and it just cracks me up that they're the ones that are owning it.
Yeah, she did that SOS cover that fucking is amazing. Mm-hmm. They do an SOS Saint Vincent in her, like it's so good, dude. Like, they actually worked the SOS Morse code into the song.
Okay, so Knife 9, a kid has a Ray doll, and
Ray does a force push. No, I'm laughing because when she sees it, fuck you.
Yeah. No,
why are you having pictures of me, stalker?
Kid just flies over, stalker. Why are you making Ray dolls?
No, it's a pretty heavy-handed moment, and it's not unlike the one that's already in the. It's there's the kids. They have the Ray doll. The bad guys come and she force pushes them. The kids are happy.
She's like, it looks like you. It's all mangled,
Yeah,
mangled.
There was like a lot of trying to show that the little children's loved Ray, and it was like pulling. We saw it in the last draft, but it was pulling on the idea of what was started in Rian Johnson's movie, where the children are the next generation of the rebellion.
The hook moment of The Last Jedi for me.
Yeah, what does that kid say? He's like, "You're the Pan Man." He's like freaks out when he says like, "You're the Pan Man." It's so fucking weird.
I just can't. That is the weirdest. Like when you go, hey, a guy made Schindler's List and then he made a hook, you're like, what? Like I just can't believe that's the follow-up. It'd be like after There Will Be Blood, he goes and makes the Wobbles movie, and you're just like, what is Paul Thomas in?
I never rooted for the son in that movie. I hated that movie.
Wait, say it again, Jesse. Yeah, we can't hear you, dude.
I said I never rooted for the son in that movie in Hook.
Oh, yeah, the kid from Can't Hardly Wait.
Yeah.
He looks, who that kid reminds me of is the old guy in Gremlins.
Oh,
like I always thought they should be in the same movie with him playing the younger version of him.
Like if they did the Explorers prequel, right, where he's a kid and he goes on the adventures.
What are you doing here?
He's also in The Burbs with Robert Picardo. So we were just watching. I was showing my wife The Burbs the other day, and I forgot he plays the garbage man. And Robert Picardo, who plays Starkiller in Explorers of all things, and eventually the Doctor on Voyager, but they play the garbage man. They're just throwing trash out. Like it's when Tom Hanks and them are going through the garbage. But the funny thing about that was it's like 15 minutes later, the garbage is still in the middle of the street. No one ever picks up the garbage. The garbage is like, he goes, "Who's picking this up?" We're like, "You're the garbage man." He's like, "I'm not. I pick up the garbage in the cans, not on the street."
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good. He passed, right? I miss that guy.
Yeah, he,
Yeah. Probably be like 100 years old
I
by
like
then.
Picardo when he was in Inner Space as the cowboy. That was-
Oh, that's it's a Tony Montana moment.
Okay, so Ray finds the Knights of Ren with the Force, and Poe is hit in the arm. Ray shoots purple lightning from her fingertips, killing one of the Knights of Ren. So Poe gets injured. That's what sets Ray off because she wants some of that dude, and shoots out the lightning, and then they're all taken aback. And so when you get down to it, is that an episode 9 connection? The Rise of Skywalker connection right there? Does that
Yeah,
feel
except the purple lightning. I mean, it's blue lightning, right?
well?
blue?
Let's not split hairs on
purple,
it.
bluish.
No. We're gonna split hairs. They got red lightning in this script, and then we got purple lightning.
Yeah. Well, I mean, essentially, that's Sith lightning. You know what I mean?
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but that's how I take
I
it.
don't know. Return of the Jedi was like purple and blue. I don't know.
I believe that the red one, the red lightning that it mentions is because the Sith holocron itself is red, so it emits red lightning.
Okay.
That's just yeah.
It's Mace Windu
anyways,
lightning. Fine.
Yeah, but this right here, like I said, like you can see where the genesis of these ideas that end up in the Rise of Skywalker are here.
Sure.
So Poe and Chewie are taken aback by this. So Rey makes Poe leave with Chewie to go help with the Resistance, Finn and Rose. She kisses him to make him do this.
So she doesn't use the Force thing. You
No.
will go help them.
No, she basically gives him what he wants, and then he's like, yeah, basically. She's like essentially like, I know if
he just waits for his refractory period and suggests he go.
Yeah. So Rey,
it's their Goonies moment, right? This is where she kisses Mikey in the cave.
She's like, Poe, do you have braces?
Yes.
So Rey needs to stay to face Kylo and end this. She now goes full Jedi with the robe. She talks to Forrest Luke about her past, who she really is. Luke says she already knows. So that's in this version, like Luke knows who she was the whole time. And for the record, in the script for The Rise of Skywalker, that is essentially in there as well. That it actually ends up in the film. It does end up in the film that way too. Yeah. So, but right here we see that so that's another element that is the same. So he explains who the Knights of Ren are, former students of his, and that Kylo wanted to be Rey's teacher.
When Rey she was 4?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Rey is mad because Kylo lied to her.
Chris Hansen got involved and was like, hey, why'd you show up to this temple?
He's you ever see that one episode with Chris Hansen where the guy has the pizza and he's like, hey, want some pizza? He's just like trying to like be cool. Like, he's like trying to like cool his way out of it.
Look, every job needs to know pizza parties won't solve your problems.
They'll solve a lot though. Kylo knows he has to go to the spire and meet Rey and finish her. He can't let her reach the spire. So Finn is stuck in a sludge. This stuff is the same, I think, right here. The sludge moment, fighting a monster in the sewer. Then Dade comes to help him. The underground resistance army is pretty ragged. I believe this stuff is almost identical. Chewie, from the last draft of the Duel of the Fates, Chewie knows they need help, so he leads Poe to a cabaret club to meet with Lando. He gets them to a private lounge after telling Poe he flew with his mother.
Poe's like, you mother.
Poe's like, Lando's like, Poe, I am your father. So when Lando,
you're a mixed baby, Poe. Sorry. No, that's sorry. Damn it. They're gonna cancel me for. That's not what I meant. I meant like, sorry, I wasn't there for your childhood. Damn it.
When Lando turns down the offer to help, Poe tells him that his mother was right about him. So Rose. So basically,
Lando is Poe's dad.
Right. In the first draft, you have Leia showing up because Carrie Fisher was alive, and she's the one who asked for help, and Lando does it. Lando kind of hits on her, then doesn't do it.
That was
Doesn't help her.
cringy.
Yeah, then turns up. Now that we don't have Carrie Fisher, they rearrange it, and Poe Dameron is the one who goes to Lando, and he knew Lando's mother, and if we know from the stories that Lando's mother was a pilot and stuff.
And
So
she was
all-
like, she tells him his mother was right about him.
Mhm. Yeah, your mother. Rose is being tortured by Hux in order to get the signature codes for the Dreadnought. She won't tell them, and Hux orders her death. Rey flies in the Knife 9 and has subliminal flashbacks when she crashes the ship out of deep space, landing at the beacon thing. She's made it to the Spire. Kylo also has a rough landing in the same place.
He just falls.
So Finn talks with Dade, who reveals that there's 100 million rustics hiding out,
Ooh.
but could fight, and that's what the First Order is afraid of. Finn inspires the room to rise up and resist. His arc is complete from when he was a trooper, then traitor. Finn was able to help Poe get in contact with Connix and the others from the Dreadnought. Poe tells them that they will fly with 100 pilots, and Finn will have a ground game. Rey will get reinforcements once she gets the signal out from the Jedi Spire. So remember that was all Mortis stuff in the first draft, and everybody was super happy about that. Not in this one. Mortis goes bye-bye. Morabend comes in to the beginning. So in the woods of where the spire is at, Rey makes her way to the spire when Osis, and I think it's supposed to be Osis the whole time, and I made typos above. I apologize. Sue me, Reddit. Rey makes her way to the spire when she gets a flashback of her parents leaving her and telling her they will come back. This makes her angry. She slices a tree in half. So I don't know if that's exactly in the other film in Rise of Skywalker, but you do have Rey slashing trees in half for what it's worth.
The tree's alive. My hand! Oh, yeah. God, it hurts.
Kylo,
why did you do that?
Kylo walks to the spire as well and sees a house and goes inside to find Han Solo, who talks to him about how he has everything he needs with his family, telling him he can always go back and his mother loves him. And see, that's kind of a weird part because she's dead at this point. But that's what it said. Flashback of Han killed by Kylo. So
he means that he can always go back to being good. And hey, your dead mother loves you.
Yeah, I guess.
Right.
But I mean, like essentially, it was the same as in the other draft. So like they just kind of hadn't changed it yet. Maybe they wanted to really deal with it in the third draft. Anyways, at Rem Decor, Finn leads a ragtag resistance attack with the underground army led by Dade. C-3PO and R2-D2 help as well.
The little kid?
Mm-hmm.
The army's led by the little kid.
Yeah, Dade is a leader of the downtrodden masses.
Last name county. Ruins all the elections. Fucking little bastard.
Fuck you, Dade. C-3PO and R2-D2 help as well. The trooper Finn talked to earlier has joined them and has a name now, Rafe. So that's the same. By the spire, Kylo and Rey have a face-off. Rey knows he's in pain and alone. He knows she's mad about her life on Jakku and blames Kylo for killing her family, but he says it was Snoke. Rey pulls out her double saber. And I think that's like the reveal of the double saber. Kylo says that Rey was protected. So what?
It wasn't me. It was my boss.
Yeah. Well, no. If you remember in the flashback, and when you really analyze what we had from Episode 7, there was the hint that Kylo was part of that. And so basically, what you have is what we kind of assumed around that time before we saw the real Episode 9 was that Kylo saved Rey, and it was he couldn't kill the kid. you know. Snoke,
Right.
he defies Snoke, and Rey is protected, and so that's why he says the girl, like in episode 7 in the audiobook. That's what that line was alluding to.
I did not listen to the audiobook.
Yeah, it was accidentally left in.
Okay.
And it was like, so it was one of the lines that was kind of a giveaway, but it wasn't in the actual novel, if I recall correctly. So Poe gives the next line in command to Dade, and Poe goes to fight, in which Poe is instantly outnumbered. They need more pilots. Hux wants to send out undisciplined mercs to keep the peace. Saloni sees the holocron and gets dark power, and it doesn't hurt her like it did with Kylo.
The Merry Sith.
Yeah, I think
Right here.
I think what the concept of that is that there's still good in Kylo, and so when it goes to attach itself to him, it's tumultuous. You know what I mean? There's like a friction there, and Saloni is just an asshole, so it has no problem. It just fuses with her just fine. I guess that's the idea.
All right.
That was my impression when I read it. So, you know, Finn inspired the rustics, and they charged the First Order. So that stuff's the same. Kylo believes that if he kills Rey, there will be no Jedi left. He will control the Force. As they fight, Rey cuts his face, and it's metallic underneath. Trippy, right?
Oh, like the chick from Superman 3?
Mm-hmm. It's Superman 3.
All right.
So
I mean, it is creepy.
It's definitely creepy. The Capitol gets hit hard with Resistance fire. The fact that they have stolen a dreadnought is the key to their success. And like, yeah, this is all on the new planet. It's not Coruscant. Chewie,
so you're saying stealing is good for Resistance?
Yeah, right.
Interesting moral.
Chewie is in his X-wing. It's the orange X-wing with BB-8. The crash land, but he did a good job. So that stuff all the same.
I just imagine Lego Chewie now. Whenever we talk about Chewie in the X-wing, because I think Lego Chewie works perfectly for Chewie in the X-wing.
I need somebody to draw his feet hanging out the bottom for me, because I just need that. I need that visual.
It needs to look like. Are you familiar with Scott Campbell's art?
Yeah.
Yeah, from Double Fine. Like it should like that. Like just Chewie standing there with the watercolor, like with the orange wax.
Oh, it's all like, yeah. Anyways, Rose escapes and reveals to Finn that the Capitol is a ship. That's the same. BB-8 needs to stop the ship from going into hyperspace. Ren slashes Rey, and after he could have been her teacher. You know, that's what he says. I could have been your teacher. He knocks her down and leaves her for dead. Ren destroys the Jedi Temple when Ghost Luke shows up to reason with him.
Don't destroy the monuments.
Hey, come on, it's not paid off.
Not Plo Koon. No.
Wait, he's all, hold on, let me up my renter's insurance.
You just the Kit Fisto. I don't like them.
We need the Kit Fisto package. So Rey starts to feel something as Luke does a voiceover about how everyone is connected by the Force.
Everybody's connected by the Force, Rey. They can all feel it. All feel it in their butts.
You know it. It's same as the last draft. So Rose and Poe feel something, and Finn can sense Rey a surge of hope. Rey comes back to fight Ren, and he calls her no one. She disagrees. No one is no one. They keep fighting.
I can't. It's the thing that I don't think Ryan ever knew that when he wrote that line that it was going to take on everything it's taken on. You know, it's like, it's just a line, but man, it's just an annoying, I don't know. It's like every time I hear that, are you the one in a Matrix movie? Mm-hmm. I'm just like, I just don't give a shit. I just want someone to actually like matter. I want the whole thing to matter. I don't care about this. This doesn't mean anything to me, you know? Like,
just glad I ever made a shirt out of it.
It's just
yeah, it's like that kind of stuff. It's a good concept when it's put into play, but when it's just evoked by title, and
Right.
that title's supposed to have power, it it doesn't really mean much unless you're obsessed. And once you're not in the
Yes.
moment of fandom obsession, then it's weak. So
That's how I feel
in-
about wobbles. I'm gonna ruin that shit too. Like, I'm
In
gonna
the-
get that Kenner font wobbles. That's the next
Yeah.
thing I'm doing, right?
but you will be happy to know that the 3PO stuff stays. In the ground fight, C3PO doesn't want to leave R2 in battle.
Oh no, Alton.
Did you know about that at this time? Like, were you fully aware of that scene?
Yeah.
What did you think when you first
When I heard about 3PO,
ripping out the guts and then being in horror? Like,
I didn't believe it.
you didn't believe it?
No, it's like one of the reasons I've been, it's a weird, like, I think there's like a really weird line with spoilers, and it takes a lot of you not wanting, or it takes a lot of like, you want this to be real, you want to know what it is, you want to know, and then you think you have it, but you have to have like a healthy level of skepticism. Like, there have been sources that have gone to other people and offered the stuff to them before me, and they were so skeptical that they didn't ever run it. And it's because they didn't do the legwork of, once they had the info, of trying to get it verified in some way. And but when you hear certain things about characters, it's like, oh man, like, you run it by and you try to figure it out. And so like, that's one of the things that was being talked about before, and I never ran it. I didn't hit it. I didn't know if I should trust it. And
So is there a chance that everything we've read is complete bullshit? Like, or is this really?
No, this is all completely real.
Because I felt like it was real, no matter how, even when I first heard about it, I'm like, this all has whether I agree with it or not, like, it has the ring of, I don't know, certain shit just feels like it has the ring of truth, right? Like, there's a difference.
Yeah, I read everything.
Right.
Like
I don't think fans would ever write
everything.
badass in a script. Like, that only comes from someone who's actually getting paid to do it. It sounds so weird.
It's like a note to themselves. And
Right.
and I think, I wish I had a better memory to be able to tell you if that was in the second draft. But it's like, in a first draft, I have a feeling you could get away with it, because it's like, it's a note to yourself as a writer.
Yeah.
What something badass needs to be here. And like, I intend for this to be a crescendo in this moment.
And look, Tarantino scripts are very informal in that way. It feels like Tarantino telling you a story, as opposed to reading, like, if you read the script, or it's like Aliens 2, that's very technical and camera driven and exterior, crane up, down, pull in, truck out. It's got all that stuff. So I get it. It's just like, I guess because the rest of the script wasn't so informal, it's just these pockets of informality that come out of nowhere. Like the 3PO thing, that tone of that is like, I felt that 3PO scene was harsher than the Tor Valum stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also think it would have got a Yoda-like reaction from the audience when that moment happened. If it was like 3PO going hardcore, it would have been, you know what I mean? It would have, but the other thing is, like, if you watch or listen to one of my old things or videos, like, I also, like, I was so beaten down by this fandom being fucking nuts and being just a bunch of lunatics that, like, I knew Rey shocked the ship and thought she killed Chewie. And when I heard that the first time, I was like, that sounds like bullshit. Like, that doesn't, and it turns out people actually liked it. But when I heard it, it sounded so stupid to me. And it did not sound like, it didn't ring true in the moment. And it wasn't until, the same sources that were telling me everything and showing me everything was like, it has to be,
And to be fair, that scene could have worked if they didn't just take it back one scene later. Like, if they had given it 20 minutes, and it turned out he was alive or something, like, it could work. It's just like, he took it away right away. Like, it's just.
And that wasn't the original edit of the film.
Okay.
That's what made some of my sources very annoyed
Mm-mm.
because
I
things
could see
were
that.
things were would get kind of softballed, you know, in that movie. And like I always try to side on the with the creators, and especially if you're reporting spoilers. I think there's nothing worse than reporting on somebody's movie and shit talking it. Something that isn't done, something that isn't out, something that like that's not being judged on its own merit. I feel like if you're going to report on that stuff, you should really kind of be in its corner, you know? And
Right.
so I always so that's kind of why I sort of backed off of like the Ray Lightning stuff. There's a video on this channel where I talk about everything around it, and I'm like, and then there's some shit I don't want to touch, and it's that, and
Because you're the guy who delivers the message, and then you're the one
gets
who
beat
did it.
up
Yeah,
and gets
I
beat
got
up
it.
for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then now I have a whole new outlook. It doesn't matter. These people are fucking insane. So just say whatever and don't read it. that's kind of where I'm at now.
Do they go away, most of them, and then just new ones pop up?
Mhm.
Or is it like the same diehards
Yeah,
just stick around? And
I
everyone...
will say that.
Diehards that stick around for sure that I notice.
Oh no. There's fucking lunatics that are always here. Yeah,
There
but
are people-
but
people
for me, my experience, the insane, the most insane of the insane, they pop in and then they're just not here. They're like they're there for the one movie and then they're gone. You know, and I'm talking about like the people like, you know, like I don't know, like if you like read people shit talking me on Reddit. It's not the same people shit talking me on episode 8 as episode 7 as episode 9. it's just
Right.
it just continually changes.
They
But-
harass you, Thrawn?
No,
Okay,
I don't.
so
I'm,
no,
not
I'm
pop- I'm not popular enough for, I guess. to-
give it a few weeks when this catches up. You ruined the script, Thrawn.
It's all Thrawn's fault.
I felt Thrawn delivered the right amount of horror for the 3PO scene, by the
Oh
way.
yeah.
Like,
I wanted to say hi to Revenge Guy, but he's streaming Fortnite, so he's probably already gone to go do that. But yeah, I definitely I definitely want to watch him stream Fortnite or join him and let him carry me.
Yeah, the boy's on right now. He's playing.
God, I'm having a good time with the season of Fortnite. I know it's UFO stuff, but that's just a coincidence. But man, did they have timing on that though? You know?
Yeah. I was the first time I played the Imposters too the other night.
It was fun, right?
Yeah, I'm not big on the Imposters ones, but yeah, it can be fun.
What I like about it is I'm trying to get level 260, which is ridiculous, or 220. And that one you could just kind of turn on and you could just kind of chill and listen to a podcast and play. You know what I mean? Whereas the other mode, you have to like really be super engaged. So I'm kind of enjoying it. But all right, back to the script. So Connix is going to retreat as they are taking heavy fire, but they are saved by Lando and 1,000 ships. He came back. So that moment right there is the same as in the last draft, but it's very clear that it's the same thing that happens in the Rise of Skywalker in this
I
one.
do prefer Lando in a cantina versus Lando somehow incognito at Burning Man. Like it just so weird.
Yeah, and it's like my daughter was kidnapped here. We never found her, and I stayed here forever. I'm glad you guys are here. I'm
thought
very
they were
lonely.
ripping off the version of Sakaar, like from Thor Ragnarok. I was like, what? They're on Sakaar?
Yeah, it's just such a weird thing. Like I think he thinks he was evoking Lando undercover in Return of the Jedi.
Yes,
but that's not dumb. That's not what defines Lando. It's
no, to see Lando go from, you know, Cloud City to like the Marion's bar in Raiders. That's actually a little bit of an arc, you know?
Yeah.
Like, and then, you know, he goes back to being a general. Like that gives him, you know, like leading the ships. Like that gives you something right there. I mean, it's small, but it does give you something, as opposed to, I just happen to be walking around the galaxy looking for my daughter. Have you seen someone like me with long hair?
It was more like it's best been to the guy from Gladiator who picks up Russell Crowe after he's been wounded.
Oh shit.
Oh yeah,
Turns him
those.
into a slave.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. That whole thing. I just sat there in the theater rolling my eyes like, we're back to this nonsense. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. This was a better intro for Lando. And I will say though too that Finn's arc is just as good as in the first draft, but I also feel like it's a little bit reduced. It's like it was a little bit bolder in the first draft. In the second draft, I feel like it is cut down a bit. Things aren't as it felt like Finn's movie in that first draft to me. Anyways, Rey has a chance to kill Kylo, but she doesn't. She tries to get Ben to come back. She forgives him. He has to make a choice, a different kind of balance. You know what that's getting at if you listen to the last draft. So then Saloni shows up and grabs Kylo, but she's too powerful for Rey to fight off. Rey is beaten down, but when the stone debris is about to crush Rey, Kylo comes to save her. Rey takes half of her double saber and gives it to Kylo.
She tosses it to him, but it just goes right into his chest.
Yeah.
And then he just slices through him and he falls to the ground.
And then it turns out he was connected to Hux, and it cuts through, and then it cuts through Hux and kills him.
Wow, that's a Queen's Gambit move right there, buddy.
Yeah.
By the way, Saloni, it should be the Queen's Gambit. What's her face?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, her. Anna Taylor-Joy. I
Yeah.
did it. I remembered her name.
You remembered it. You did it. Yeah. She's a hot lady.
Chauvinist male tendencies are getting the better of me.
I have to
I'm
say,
so proud I remembered the hot girl. Like, okay.
I would learn like the opening chess moves. I know the dragon and everything. Anyways, Saloni shows up and grabs Kylo. She's too powerful. So yeah, see, I think Saloni sucks, honestly. Like the character, and obviously we're not reading the actual script, it's my notes, but there's really just like she's like a plot device, to not make Kylo kill Rey like he does in the first draft.
Kylo should have gotten like a little Snoke, like a clone Snoke. He becomes like a Grogu, like a proto Grogu, but
if
it's
you
like
love
a little Snoke.
Grogu, you'll love Baby Snoke. It's like all pouring up and shit.
Baby Snoke comes out.
Just imagine all of the Baby Snoke pictures you'd see on abortion clinic protester signs. Anyways, Connix tells Poe to do something reckless.
He's like sexually, or you mean
like
heat of battle.
Give my credit card number out.
Yeah, he's
combination of my luggage.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Poe gives Finn a resistance flag when they are reunited, and Finn waves it. Big character beat, same as in the other one. Don't like it. That sounds stupid.
Meanwhile, in space, no one can see someone waving a flag. Okay.
But they're connected, remember? They're connected from Luke Skywalker. So this oiler crashes on the front steps of the barricade. Saloni is about to kill Rey, but Ren takes the hit and dies. So a little like the Palpatine rumor, for what it's worth. Then Rey kills Saloni in a rage of necessary darkness. Saloni falls dead. As he's dying, I wrote Ren, but Ben says that Rey's name is Solana. Rey Solana.
So weird.
And Ben dies.
Saloni, Solana.
Right?
Shlemiel, Shlemazel, Half Offense Incorporated. Duel of the Fates is going.
Well, at the end, there's a Wookiee named Salami, so just wait for it.
No.
Yeah, almost dead. Rey knows she has to climb the Jedi Spire, clawing her way up. She enters the Force-based transmissions tower. A lot of stuff moving around Rey with Kyber crystals.
This is very Rogue One with the climbing the tire to get to the.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying, and that's one of the reasons I'm not a big fan of it, just because we got it in Rogue One. It's
the exact same thing. Yeah.
She sends her message out to the galaxy with Rey as a projection, saying her full name. I am Rey Solana. Yeah.
Everyone's like, so. Elmo's like.
he's like, no, Rey, you didn't hear me right. You're Rey and you worked at a salon. You're nobody. You just cut hair. A bunch of hair people are gonna be mad at me now. Telling everyone that hope
Ray
is not
L'Oreal.
lost. Right? Yeah. Bosk is at a den when he sees the projection and wants to join.
It's like I'd do her. Sorry, guys. It's Bosk. Like I
Bosk
didn't
is
say
the-
that. Boss said that. Like
Bosk, that creepy tongue they gave him in Clone Wars. He's like, don't cancel me. It's just what we do.
Bosk
Anyways.
doesn't wear shoes.
Yeah, that's kind of how he sounds.
Just my feet. Just walk around and stink it up.
Hux learned that they don't have the ships to attack because they are tied up elsewhere since Rey sent out the message. They are outnumbered 3-1.
See, I learned this move in StarCraft. You have to resource build properly before you go into battle, buddy. Hux never played enough StarCraft.
Are you aware? Are you guys both aware that he lost the Star Wars?
The War of the Stars. Sorry.
Yeah. So Finn can tell Rey is alive. That's the same.
Because she just force projected?
Yeah. There's that. There is
Smart
that.
Finn.
But this, it may. I'm gonna take that from them and say that it may be my poor note keeping as opposed to their skills as writers.
And Luke, now they're gonna be like, oh, thank God he corrected that. Like that's always a problem.
So Luke tells Rey that she is a Jedi now, but not the last. He will never leave her, and life returns to her. So Rey,
I won't leave you like Ben left me. Where is Ben?
Rey glows and wonders aloud if she's dead, but Yoda tells her there is no death with the Jedi, but Rey is not finished. So yeah, I don't think Ben is there, just Yoda. At a ceremony, Chewie gets a special medal. The friends wonder if Rey is really gone. Lando has a moment with C-3PO and R2-D2 coming back to life, and Lando is touched to see a flood of memories that they had.
Is that scene?
That's the scene. It was for Leia in the last one in the original draft. In this one, it's for Lando because
we're doing a recap at the end of the
recap
montage.
Yeah,
Finn, I really don't like that. By the way,
no, I think that's horrible. It's kind of funny because if you guys remember for episode 7, I had a scoop that Luke Skywalker was in the flashback fighting on Bespin. And I was told by someone that it was removed from there because JJ specifically didn't want it to look like a YouTube best of Star Wars flashback sequence. So he didn't want it to be a clips reel of Star Wars.
I still think the way to do that is what he solved on is the forward where she's actually engaged in those scenes.
Yeah.
You know, like I think that's totally when she's fighting Ren, if it's like on Mortis where it's something changing, you see a planet changing and time is weird there. If they had been like through the Clone Wars, you know, like on the Death Star during they're in the middle of space on Jedi.
Yeah.
You know, they're on the Ewoks, but I mean, look, it tastefully, but there's a way to do that that's pretty cinematic, you know.
Sure. Yeah, well, and I think he did the right reasoned thing. Yeah. This goes balls out at the end to make you.
They're literally watching YouTube. I hear at the end, like literally
Star Wars YouTube. Yeah. So Finn reads a story to the young kids, you know, as he does in the last one, and they ask if they really think Rey is gone. Finn believes she's alive because of the Force.
Does he read the story in Jar Jar's voice?
Well, the thing that I either realized it in this draft or it was in the first draft too, and I didn't make the connection all the way. But basically, when Luke does what he does, essentially Poe and Finn kind of have the Force now. Like it's awakened that in them. So you kind of get the idea that Rey has help, and Poe and Chewie are flying. They land. They find a beacon on the planet. Rey is on Wavit planet, pulling the Falcon out of the icy water. Last shot is Rey returning to the Jedi School to teach young kids.
See, I think the better thing here is if she had died, but when the kids, as they learn the Force, she becomes the ghost they see. So they learn that there is no death. You know what I mean? They don't have to say it. They could just see her. She's never left us. She's still alive, and she's here as a ghost teaching us. You know, like there would have been something there, but I don't know. That's a lot. Again, it feels like 4 different endings.
Yeah, no, it was a lot. They had the idea I don't know, what do you call that? You call that a coda, maybe? Yeah, it's like I said, it really, I don't feel like it got better. Like the problems that were there are still there.
Yeah.
And the things that people liked on the internet are taken away though, and to some extent. And so it didn't really get better with losing Carrie, but I also don't buy the concept that losing Carrie torpedoed this.
Right.
We
Yeah,
we didn't get her.
I don't think so either.
No,
that could really do that.
Yeah, right. Remember, that was like kind of the narrative. The narrative was they left because Carrie was gone and it wasn't going to work now, and everything like that. And when I'm looking at this, I don't
see how.
Yeah,
it wouldn't have made that much of a difference.
And one of the things about the second version though that was confusing, and it's still kind of confusing in the first one, but it sounds like when like Rey, because Luke gives her the second lightsaber that and it's like Leia's lightsaber in that moment, but then she has the double lightsaber, so it's like she takes them and makes them into the thing, and I don't get it. I don't know if she's just like supposed to like all of a sudden she's mended them.
She's like
together.
MacGyver. She just gets the duct tape out, dun, 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 and she tapes them together, and then she's got the double lightsaber.
Yeah. It's I guess it would have been a good reveal, and we would have worried about it later. But I don't know. I feel like I like a lot of stuff as a Star Wars fan of everything in the first draft a little bit more, but I also feel like the way that they handled the second draft felt a little bit less callbacky in the plot. Like, here's more.
Can you do me a favor, Jason? Like,
Yeah.
Can you promise me, if you ever promise me one thing, is if you ever get to hang out with Rian Johnson, can you just get him to tell you personally what he would have done?
Yeah.
And you don't have to tell anyone else, just me. I just want to know, what would you possibly would have done? You know,
he told me. He told me.
Wobbles. He whispered one word. Wobbles.
He was like he was like, you know what? He's like, no one had kicked as much ass as Ewoks. I created porgs. How was I gonna one up it? An Ewok and a porg put together, a womble. Womble. It's basically a big porg with a cowl on its head, a womble. Yeah. But so like one of the, I think the more egregious moments was Tor Valum being a Sith who's not a Sith, and I like that in this one they got rid of that. They made it.
I could have been Plagueis. I mean, I could have been fine with that, or something pre-Plagueis.
They had Snoke sending him to find Plagueis stuff. I think that's a better way of doing it personally. I think that was an improvement. Yeah. At least for me, anyways.
I mean, look, I like the Wommels, but if I had to choose between the Tor Valum and the Wommels, I'll take the Tor Valum. So
you're so wrong right now. You're so wrong right now.
Look, I'll take the Wommel merch. It's gonna be like a 10-1 versus the Tor Valum merch.
That's just sucking stuff.
Yeah, Jesse, like based off of, you didn't get to read the second draft, so it's not exactly fair. It's just my shitty notes. Did my best. Which version do you like? Do you have a preference in version? Are you neutral? Like what are your thoughts on that?
I'd say I like pieces of both, but I like to do partial more towards the first draft.
Wait, you're like, well, like we're like losing every other word you say right now.
I'm sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. You gotta get right up in there, Morty.
All right. You hear me now?
Nice try.
Okay. So no, I like pieces of both drafts, but the first draft is more my cup of tea.
Yeah.
I could have done without the C-3PO ripping the guts out.
Shame on you.
I could have done without it. It was hurt. It was painful to do. PTSD. And so.
Hold on. That could have been the name of the robot he was ripping the guts out of. It's PT-SD.
Oh man.
Come on, guys.
PTSD 53. I'm sorry.
I'm not saying I could write a great one. I'm saying I could get fired for making one. Like, that's all I'm saying.
You're on a
Yeah.
list. You're already on a list.
Remember in
Definitely
episode
on the list.
in episode 3 there were the Betty bots, and like they could have named one HPV. Sorry, I had to. I had to do it. I can't help myself. But yeah. I mean, I don't. So like this was the second draft, right? We could probably have expected 4 to 5 drafts before we got to a finished film. I feel like the direction in this one was moving away from what the internet liked. But I also don't think the internet would have actually liked the movie that it would have been in the end, or if they had just made the first draft into a film. I don't think the internet would have liked it. I think that they would have liked it because when they hear things that they can associate with something, Mortis, Clone Wars, Hera's ship shows up. Oh my god! I released that, and everybody's like, "Oh my god, Hera's ship!" It's like, yeah, it's fucking irrelevant. It doesn't make it a good movie. It has nothing to do with the movie. You know what I mean? Mando's ship shows up too, and now that shit gets blown up, so it's not even Mando's ship.
Yeah, but are we? Yeah, but are we talking about people who are now watching it that they're the same folks who get hard because they see Captain America's shield in a different show that's not Captain America's movie or show?
Yeah, I feel like it builds a discourse against like in this instance, the Rise of Skywalker, the what could have been becomes, oh well, that would have been better. I want to see that. Fuck that movie. Like it's kind of like it's sort of stupid. It's sort of knee jerk, and it does exist. And in reality, Rise of Skywalker got more drafts than this did. You know what I mean? And it became what it became. But
I just think it needed more time. And again, This is the thing. Like, I couldn't. If they had shot the first script as it was, I couldn't have liked it less than the way Rise of Skywalker came out. It would probably been about even, just different.
Yeah.
But I certainly believe the answer here is they felt they needed to get one out like every friggin' year, And I just don't understand that mentality. I mean, if Lord of the Rings barely did it, and they shot everything at once.
Right.
And I just can't. I mean, they were doing each one like a TV. They're not getting the TV shows out every year.
Yeah.
Like this is crazy. Like why did they get so hung up on this? I don't understand it. And we're gonna make our money back. They made their money back with Force Awakens. I don't care what.
I think they got caught up with the fan stuff and then having to compete with. They thought they were competing with Marvel.
But they own Marvel, so they're not competing with Marvel. I don't understand that.
But if you go on the internet, you go on Twitter, it's that retarded. It's
not use that word.
Yeah.
Careful, buddy.
It's that ridiculous where people don't use reason. They don't use logic. It's all about your feelings and your emotions. And if it's not bending to your reason and your logic, then you just don't like it.
But do you think Bob Iger is really like reading the internet, going, "Gotta get it out"? Like, I don't.
No, he doesn't. I don't think in a general way he really makes every decision based on that.
I think that they wanted it to start by 2015, and by starting then they ran into a thing where they were going to constantly be playing catch up from the moment that there was the first film that they did make their money back, which they actually didn't make $4 billion. Sorry, I'm not going to let that one go. They didn't make $4 billion on Force Awakens, but they were on the path and everyone was happy and Star Wars had a bright future. And then Rogue One.
But they had to do $1 billion in merch, right?
Honestly, I don't know how much. I don't know how much they made. A lot in merch.
Okay, let's just say they broke somewhere at least 1.5 billion on that first film. Rogue One comes out, did another $1 billion, probably at least another, at least $1 million in merch. I mean, right? Like, I mean, the merch sold, so they probably did another 20 to 50 million in merch. So like Last Jedi did not tank; it did quite well. So like by The Last Jedi, I just feel like given how troubled those productions were, it seems to me the smoothest production was The Last Jedi.
Last Jedi had no problems.
So just go with the guy who fucking doesn't give you all the trouble, right? Like just, and look, my friends who were like, but you complain about The Last Jedi. Yeah, I complain about all the films. You want to talk about A New Hope? You want to talk about it takes like 25 minutes to get the movie going? I'm fine with that, but don't tell me like everything is perfect. Everything has its stuff. But out of the sequel stuff, the most complete film, the one that has a beginning, middle, and end, is The Last Jedi. And the person who made it was not waffling on his decisions, right? And the vision. The vision was, yeah. And so it's like, go with that guy. Just because honestly, he did something that I think no Star Wars movie has done out of the main films, where I don't know where they go after this. Name one Star Wars film that you were like, I don't know what to do next. Even after Return of the Jedi, you could imagine, well, Luke would build a temple and he would do this. I don't know what's supposed to happen after The Last Jedi. like I really don't. And clearly neither did JJ or Trevorrow or
I completely disagree with the general the negative discourse that was like Ryan gave him nothing to do. No, actually Ryan for the very first time made it where anything could happen.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to tell you. Anything can happen. And I want the guy who set that up should be the one to take on what happens next. I don't think a person who writes that doesn't have an idea. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, maybe not the day he finished it, but certainly in the aftermath, that kind of brain. The guy who conjures up Knives Out doesn't, I mean, for real, dude, like I'm a big fan of everything he's done. Brick, Brothers Bloom, Looper. I saw Looper 5 times in the theaters.
Really?
Yeah, I haven't seen a movie that hit me like that out of nowhere. It was like Unbreakable.
Did you just say I fuck?
Huh? I fuck. Yeah, I do. I know. My brain stops in mid-sentence.
I fuck.
Thank you. My problem is I don't complete sentences because I see the visuals in my head. So whenever I stop, if you ever hear me stop in mid-sentence, it's because I see, like, I just saw the farm sequence in Looper. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, and I'm seeing, that's my problem as an artist, is I see the visions while I'm talking that I lose missing time right on camera. You're way better at completing thoughts and theories, in that respect. So
I don't know about that.
No. But Ryan's an amazing writer, period. And so I get that there were things behind the scenes where people are like, it feels to me like people were vying for power. Like I could be the person to help get this done. I'm not going to say who that was or whatever, but like it felt like there was people going, I could save the thing and get it done and my crew can come in and solve it. And I don't think it helped anything.
Yeah. I ultimately think it would have been best for someone else to have made 9. You know what I mean? Someone who didn't have a dog in the fight. If there wasn't really a fight, that's I think another thing that it gets overblown. It just comes. It's like, well, no, yeah, it's like this. Like I think the best analogy is JJ made a house, Ryan moved in and painted it and put his shit inside after JJ moved out, and then JJ moved back in and took Ryan's shit out and painted it how he wanted it to be, Well,
that's where I feel, that's when you say someone new should have come in. When we were talking about Solo, I was like, well, you almost feel like Ron Howard should have directed 9 and JJ should have came in and saved Solo. Like, feels like that would have been more like JJ's.
Maybe that's what would have happened had they kept the Lego dudes on 9. I mean,
Howard
would
have come in,
and then maybe Howard would have been the guy who they got for that. Right. Yeah, potentially. Yeah, it's definitely like I don't know. It's definitely one of those things where I hope someday when we get a bit a ways out and feelings aren't hurt anymore, people have moved on and they have bright careers and all that jazz. They're not fighting for their name still. I hope that this gets that comic book treatment like Lucas's Star Killer scripts did.
Well, I still feel with the way Rise of Skywalker is now, that if they did, again, like a series or an animated series continuing the adventures of these 3 characters that culminates in 10 or 15 years into a trilogy where they're older, that all this movie gets redeemed by, like, in the way that the Clone Wars sort of redeems a lot of the shortcomings of the prequel films. Like, I think they not only do they have the template to do it, they've already done it. That company has already pulled this off. So like, I really feel they should just, if you're going to pull that trigger and like bite off something you already did before, bite off that. Like, just build the Jedi, whatever Rey's doing next, and Finn and Poe. Like, stop telling like side adventures where they make guest appearances. Make it those characters and make it something that everyone's invested in watching, and give all this some greater meaning, you know?
Yeah. I'm with you. Bootsy's here. So he's watching the Rise of Skywalker bonus DVD disc with the making of documentary. I have a whole new appreciation for the movie. It was a Herculean task. JJ and company really pulled the shiz bit off. And then he goes on to say, Jason, will you ask Rob to sing the Mr. Belvedere TV theme song? That's Shiznit is lit. Fire. Oh, that Weasley. Or Wesley. Sorry.
I don't remember the Belvedere offhand.
It's like, never read them before. No one cares. It's something like it sounds like the guy from the cantina or Maz's Castle in the bar.
Oh yeah.
You're the guy who sings that
Right, yeah. Actually, at the time, I was watching Night Court religiously. Like, Night Court was my everything. My mom when Belvedere was out. My mom didn't pick me up from school till like 5:30, 5, and then we would go bowling till like midnight. So I wouldn't come home to watch my mom was not responsible. And so I would stay up late watching whatever was on channel 7 or 10, and it was like Night Court reruns, or from like 82, like not the current Night Court episodes, the earlier ones with the chick from Meatloaf. Remember, she sings on all the Meatloaf songs. Yeah. And I was like, it's the girl from Meatloaf, and I would just watch that all night and not sleep. So
I love the YouTube series, the Zach Morris's Trash Guys, and the other one is A Very Special Episode, and they reminded me of one episode of Mr. Belvedere where the kid has AIDS.
Oh yeah.
And at the end,
very special, like, Mr. Belvedere.
Whenever they bring in a character who you never see again, they're all, and then he probably died of fucking AIDS because you never see the character ever again.
Right. And also, when I was that age, I got Mr. Belvedere and Webster confused. I thought they were in the same show. I was like, how come, like, where's Webster? Like, where's Belvedere? Like, I really thought Webster and Belvedere were in the same show for some reason.
Dude, there was this one episode of Webster where he, like there's the one where he burns his house down with a rocket set, right? And then he has to move. They have to move out of the Chicago apartment into like this like house, right? And it turns out this couple had like a dead daughter, and they never changed her room. And there's this episode where Webster goes into the room, and there's a rocking chair, and there's like a doll in the rocking chair.
Oh, Annabelle, dude.
It's fucking terrifying.
See, Night Court never got that deep. That's why I liked it. It was just like one day, like the Trekkies show up and they literally beam out of the Night Court.
Yeah.
It's like, what is going on?
Oh, and this actually relates. It all relates, I swear. There's this other episode of Punky Brewster where they go like into this weird cave, and the blonde kid turns into like this like monster in the wall, like a spider looking thing. And reminds me of the Tor Valen puppet from episode 9 of that.
He really turns into a spider, dude?
Yeah, it was freaky. I'm gonna find it and send it to you, because
the only episode of Punky Brewster I remember is when they got locked in the fridge. Because like there was this
sitcom.
Because in the 80s, kids were locking. That was their bucket challenge or whatever.
Where you die. Yeah.
Yeah.
What it was I remember this. What it was that if there were a ton of Indiana Jones style fridges that you could survive an atomic attack from the 50s, and they were being thrown away by the 80s. So kids would go out into the street where they were getting thrown away, and then they would climb into them, close them, and suffocate.
I wonder. So Back to the Future was 85. Punky Brewster was 84 or 83?
I want to say it was definitely on in 85, so it was probably like it was more of an 85 show.
When was that fridge? Because I wonder if they removed the fridge because kids are dying in fridges. Like, I wonder, like, no one ever wanted, no one, you know what I mean? Like, if they were like, oh shit, kids are dying in fridges, we should probably not have our hero save himself by locking himself in a fridge, because kids will do that. Like,
Dude, parents were fucking crazy back then. I remember there were like parent groups on the news like every couple of nights burning Rambo merchandise, like war merch.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
remember
It
that.
was like a big thing, and I remember that.
I miss
remember
those days.
those guns called. I had an Uzi called Zap It. It was like a
Yeah.
realistic black Uzi that you put red goop in, and you could literally Uzi your friends to death. Yeah, those guys.
They're like cops will shoot the kids with the toy guns. Now they'll just shoot you.
Yeah, the Rambo 6-wheel Jeep from the movie wasn't in the movie, but they made the toy line after First Blood
Oh, really?
Part 2.
Yeah.
Because Rambo had the cartoon, right?
Yeah, the cartoon.
Yeah.
So it was a 6-wheel Jeep, like a rocket launcher in it. I still have that somewhere around here.
Fuck that video game too. By the way, the NES Rambo.
Oh, the Rambo game.
Fuck
It's
you,
better than the
NES.
Karate Kid game.
Nah,
It's kind of an open world game, though, man. You can go wherever you want. You just won't know what the hell's going on.
Karate Kid game. You got to get the flies. That's Mr. Miyagi.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll take the Rambo over the Karate Kid game. Let them fight.
Mr. D'Angelo Vickers says, "I think the first draft sounds pretty good. I do think it'll be a better movie than The Rise of Skywalker, but still hate the title Duel of the Fates. Sounds too much like a fan film."
No, Rise of Skywalker sounds like a fan film to me.
And dieheads.
Rise of Skywalker really literally comes from Ain't It Cool News's Rise of the Empire. Like that Rise name in movies comes when Ain't It Cool News was trying to figure out the name of Attack of the Clones or Episode 3. It was like Rise of Empire.
It was they were doing it from the get-go. Rise
of the Jedi.
Rise of the Empire was like. Yeah,
and then it started making its way into movies. I'm like, why are they doing? And then when the Dark Knight, so I had this theory: anytime Rise is in the name, it's fucked. Yeah. So the Dark Knight Rises. I'm like, they didn't call it Returns. Why are they calling it Rises? What Rises? Oh no, like
no, it was already there.
Like what was the Matrix 4 title? Was like revealed yesterday. That's fucking
Resurrections.
Resurrections.
Yeah, it's like
should be Rises, right? It's pretty much the same thing.
It's just, I mean, it's like. I get you can make an argument that thematically this one makes sense, but there was already a movie called Alien Resurrection. Like it's already in the pop culture consciousness, and it sucks. It's no good. But I think The Force Awakens is a shitty title. I think The Rise of Skywalker is a shitty title. I think The Last Jedi is a good title, and I think Duel of the Fates at least is calling back to something introduced in Episode 1.
I'll
give it that.
I'll give it that. Like.
Yeah,
and that music should have been in the damn movie. It's in the trailer. That Imperial March Duel of Fates trailer to me is amazing. Like that piece of music is brilliant. Like
any problems with the prequels wasn't with the music. That's what's so fucking weird about the music choices. But at least in terms of callback music. But as we know, according to if we hear the script. They would have just been telling John Williams, "Hey, play the Cantina music here. Play Across the Stars now." Like they would have had him do every fucking theme from all of the movies. Play the Echo Bass music.
Don't play Joel McNeely's music because they own licensing. Like they you know about that story? At LucasArts, there was literally like the audio guy that worked at LucasArts for the longest time was doing an interview on this podcast, and he was saying that when he got there was this Shadows of the Empire master samples selection, and there was a tape never used this music because Joel McNeely like owns it, and they have to pay him. And
like that one dude, Dash
Rendar.
Dash Wars or whatever. The Australian dude. He was using like Star Wars MIDI for his YouTube videos, and then eventually they all got flagged for it because of fucking MIDI. It's like, you guys, oh my God, you're losing sales because of the MIDI. No, the MIDI music has been out since I think it was music from Tiny Death Star.
So the first thing I ever downloaded on the internet was MIDI tracks, MIDI covers of Star Wars and Batman. Certain Elfman's Batman.
But it's not like anything was lost by that. Like you were like, oh, you know,
hey, you're a freaking nerd if you're using it.
Yeah, I mean, if you're downloading the fucking MIDIs, you're already way in.
I opened my podcast with QuickTime VR and got DMCA'd.
D'Angelo agrees that Ryan making episode 9 would have been the way to go. Yeah, I agree too. That would have been my choice. And The rumor, the credible rumor, was that was what was going to happen. He was going to go down to Pinewood, say what to scrap, what to keep, and that Michelle Rejuan, who, if you want to make up a Star Wars lie that Kathleen Kennedy is being assassinated and fired by some Disney executive, that's who would succeed her. That is her successor. But went and got JJ back because she had a relationship with him, being his personal assistant for years, his PA. And that's one of the things that I find amusing is if Michelle Rejuan, who does take over someday, the comedy of the whole thing is they like to make Kathleen Kennedy sound like she's a glorified secretary. And that's all she ever was. She couldn't produce. She was just banging Marshall. And it's
Sure.
complete bullshit. It's completely fucking stupid.
Right.
But when they have that she's JJ, that Rejuan is JJ's secretary, they're going to lean into that. Watch. But I mean,
robot everywhere.
And that is not an argument for saying that she shouldn't become Kathleen Kennedy's successor. I'm not making that argument whatsoever. I'm just saying stupid going to be stupid.
I'm not saying making a bad call is why you should lose your gig, because we're all going to make bad calls creatively.
Sure.
My thing is, what did she learn from this?
Mm-hmm.
Did she learn? I hope that they learned, don't rush something like Star Wars is not. Look, Marvel's is pulp adventures that you watch them, you ingest them. That's cool. Maybe I'll come back to it later, but it's kind of like you're feeding the gravy train. Star Wars is really, it's mythology. And so like you can do pulpish adventures, but it's not like got to crank the movie out to get it out every year. That's not a good idea, man.
No, I agree with you. For the record, yeah. I think everybody agrees with you. Corporate culture or corporate America isn't going to. Disney is not ever going to see it that way. They have, I think, been. You can see the failings in that. At the same time, I think they've been better about delaying it than I imagined they would have been. You know what I mean?
Do you give any credence to that schedule I sent you? Was that bullshit or? I'm talking about something. I sent you on the Twitter today. I sent you this, like, there was a schedule for 2022 that listed the number of episodes and the release. Like,
I actually didn't see that.
Yeah, so it was like Book of Boba Fett had so many episodes, Kandor had so many, like Obi-Wan had so many. Yeah, it was
okay. How many did Obi-Wan have?
Obi-Wan, it said Obi-Wan had 6. Sorry, Thrawn, go ahead.
That sounds correct. That was what I originally heard. But it went through a rewrite after I heard that, so I didn't know if that was true. But Obi-Wan.
So it said, so they went 2022, 8 episodes starting in December for Book of Boba Fett.
Okay.
Then it said Andor 12 episodes, which I imagine those would be 20-minute.
And 20, that is confirmed in the investors trailer for Andor. They had the costume designer going, I'm making costumes or designing stuff for 12 episodes.
Bad Batch season 2, 16 episodes.
That would be the same as the first.
Obi-Wan,
third verse, same as the first.
Obi-Wan 6 episodes. TV movie Lego Star Wars special. Mandalorian season 3, 8 episodes.
Those have always been 8.
So. And 4 episodes of Disney Gallery. That was
right. Yeah. That sounds like it's going to be. That sounds realistic. It could be awesome if Rob got a Rian Johnson chest tattoo. He'll pull so many hotties with that kind of ink.
Like right down here.
Just Ryan going.
I got Brothers and Bloom on my ass.
Whenever you go to the pool, you take off your shirt and you go knives out. Eric asked a really good question. My friend Eric Denton, he said, "Do you think they changed the Jedi Spire to the Death Star to avoid prequel stuff?" And I think that could be a silver lining, but they created, so originally Jakku was a marsh-like planet with desert and water on it and like a swampy desert kind of stuff. And in some of the concept art, they had the Death Star 2 having gone across the galaxy and having crashed there in the water there. And one of the ideas for Rey's introduction that an artist had was Ray it literally scuba dives essentially down into the Death Star 2 remains to pull out parts, and that's how we see her instead of the Star Destroyer graveyard. So my hunch, without knowing for sure the answer to this question, is that JJ wanted to go back to that concept art that he loved that didn't fit into episode 7. So that's where I think that
See,
was
that's where like the culmination of the story, like the Palpatine returning thing could have been he's haunting the Death Star.
That's what I wondered that. I pondered that.
Yeah,
and
that's where I'm like, you don't need to actually resurrect him. He could be haunting that fucking thing. And they're both looking for this holocron. You know what I mean? And the holocron allows her maybe to like force project across the galaxy. And for Ren, if he used it, or Kylo, he used the holocron, and that would give him like the power to crush people's wills across. Or you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
like there's some way to do that.
Just either one of them touching it. Yeah.
And I know they go, well, that means another end movie on a Death Star. I'm like, yeah, but so fucking what? Like at this point, at least it would feel like the culmination of something, but it's like a plot point on the way to Exegol, which I gotta be honest, man. Like when I see that TIE, the X-Wing or the TIE doing that weird through the red, I'm like, this is like a cutscene in like Rogue Squadron when you're waiting for something to load.
Yeah.
You know, where it just goes back and forth, and then now we're there. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
man.
yeah. That was just like all like, we have these random ideas. We'll work it out how it makes sense and how it connects. And it was added in very, very late. How that was going to happen.
Ghost, man, that would have been fun.
Yeah, there was, when I didn't have the complete, when I was like had like patches of episode 9, was hearing certain things, I thought the Wayfinder was a thing that was going to resurrect Palpatine, and I thought the Death Star 2 was there because that was the start of it. You know what I mean? And it made sense when I didn't have a complete.
In the way that the cave was filled with the dark side because some Sith died there with Yoda a while back or whatever, that the Death Star's remains, the Death Star 2's remains, was haunted with the power of Palpatine, like
yeah, when he dies, that energy blast comes out, into it, like that could have been something. And but what we got. Okay. Elite Praetorian says, I just wish I appeared in episode 9 and didn't get thrown into a blender and ate, laughing my ass off. Oh, remember that guy? That scene is badass. I do love that moment in the Last Jedi duel when that was good.
That was good.
Justin Westwood. Justin, thank you for being a channel member. If anybody wants to become a channel member, give me your cold hard cash.
I'm a channel member.
That's weird.
To do that.
That's weird. But thank you,
I do
Rob,
this and I pay into it. Hey, look.
You're a channel member.
I know it seems like it's a conflict of interest. I'm like, I'm the next Matt Gates. Like,
not I'm not
to
me.
Such a bad man. I'm just canceling myself. That's the only thing they're gonna clip, by the way, right? When it goes around Twitter.
Justin 21. Rob said.
So Justin Westwood says, I finally talked myself into watching The Rise of Skywalker again. My imagination says I'd like almost any other version of this film. Ultimately, this was never going to be an ending to the previous 2 trilogies. Yeah, I think Trevorrow wanted to do that. I'm guessing Lucasfilm saw what that looks like and didn't want it, but still said, that's what we're doing. That's what this is. We're gonna sell this idea that this is what it is.
We can't have it end because we want to make more.
Yeah. And it's like, it's just, and it's, I mean, in a big way, it's always been a little bit annoying to me because I don't believe it's the end.
Do you think if they had Disney Plus going? So Disney Plus and Mando launched right before this movie premiere. Remember, like Mando launched with Disney Plus, and then right when Mando ends, Rise of Skywalker comes out. So it was like the duel of the takes, right? Which one will survive? Which one is the future star? But if you think if Disney Plus had been out prior to the script being written, that they would have been, hey, we can have it complete, and then we could do some TV series for a while on Disney Plus, and then come back with another movie. Do you just they just weren't able to think like that? Like
I don't
know.
Yeah,
I know you. I mean, you don't know, but like,
No. I mean, it's a good question. I'm like,
I could believe that because I just hear so much of the history of like people that used to work at Comedy Central, and it's like they were people who went to college and got degrees in something else, and none of them were ever a stand-up or did a open mic or anything like that, so they didn't know funny. But yet they're an executive at Comedy Central trying to decide the future of the comedy show.
yeah.
Yeah, so in this way, it's like they don't like the distribution model now for like all these shows coming out. That isn't something that was even thought of possible when Force Awakens came out, right?
No, but what I think the change is, or the difference is more tied to the Solo failure. Like the Ahsoka series probably would have been an Ahsoka film, just as the Kenobi and the Boba Fett series were going to be films onto themselves too. Now, one question I have, one like standing question, is the concepts that were around for the Boba Fett film. Does any of that have anything to do at all with this series that we're getting at all?
If you ever party with Josh Trank, you got to get the inside scoop.
Dude, I was getting inside scoops on that film that he was doing and the shit that was going on, and it was so outrageous. I didn't know what to do with it. But it was like a dog shitting all over the set, him pissing on something he wanted that he said was to be one color, and they painted it a different color as per the studio. Smoking weed. And
legal.
like, yeah, like he just like, well, like he isn't directing. I think Kinberg, the rumor was, took the movie from him.
Fantastic Four.
Yeah, and he just like shows up because he can't like vacate the film, but he can't direct it because they're taking it from him. And it was this weird thing.
Very Kurtz.
But his like behavior, his reaction to the pressure is why they took the Star Wars movie away from him. And I have to imagine that there must have been some truth to it to some extent.
He addressed the dogs in the room once.
Did he? Okay.
Yeah, he has dogs in that. Yeah, like they shit on a room, but it wasn't like they shit everywhere. It's just like sometimes your dog poop on the carpet in a like a
whoa, you know what?
Inn suite or something.
I remember that they ended up saying that in his downward spiral of losing the film in a house that they rented for him to live in while making it, he was trash. But there was stuff I know for a fact that there was stuff on set that happened that
Keith Richards is like, oh, he trashed our room.
Yeah, because
oh my bad, mate.
Well, because on one day, one of the people on the film contacted me that the head of was it Fox? I can't remember now. Showed up and addressed everybody, like their equivalent of Bob Iger showed up and addressed the crew and like apologized for what had gone on like the days before and stuff. Oof. And so there was something there, you know. But I will say I liked his movie. The movie that he did with the superhero movie. I thought it was fun.
Oh, Chronicle.
I liked Chronicle, and I also like a divisive personality, and I like somebody who doesn't take any fucking shit from 20th Century Fox douchebags. So I hope that guy has a future still. I hope he makes independent films and it's like fuck all of you guys.
So two things on that. One, he did an interview with Kevin Smith on his podcast the week before that movie Fantastic Four came out. So it's like 2014.
Okay.
And this was before the fit hit the shan. So that's worth listening.
This must have been 2016-ish, right?
No, it was 2014. No? Yeah.
He wasn't
2015.
Wait, he wasn't fired in 2014. There hadn't even been a Star Wars movie yet.
No, but the Fantastic Four movie came out 2015, 2014. We're on 2015. But it was I know exactly where I was. I was walking by Mira Mesa College because I lived right up the road in Linda Vista, and we moved here in 2016. So I was walking. I used to walk down that college, go down the hill, come back up, and make this loop every day. Okay. But he did an interview with him there that it was the weekend it came out, and none of these rumors had hit yet, you know, and then they hit after that interview. So that's an interesting interview to listen to. But the other thing would be that God damn it, you lost me on that.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Well,
sorry, I'll remember that. Oh,
yeah.
one other note, not Josh Trank related, was do you know how Guillermo was supposed to be making that Jabba the Hutt movie?
Right.
Remember they were like they're gonna do like the Jabba's Palace movie or something like that.
Right.
Do you think instead of Denny's they would have got the IHOP and call it like an iHut or something? Like get your salacious crumble, you know, like
you're now there would have been the exclusive no, that doesn't work. Never mind. I was about to go.
You get your bib Fortuna. It's a bib, but it's like Fortuna's tentacles wrap around you and you tie it, right? Look, I love cheesy marketing. All right, like I love the frosted embossed Batman Forever mugs, the Garfield glasses from McDonald's, like
powdered Fortuna toast.
Yeah,
there is nothing classy about a tie-in cup, and there is nothing you can do to make it classy. If you're low class like I am,
sometimes you have to make your own.
It's just a good time. Yeah, right. Exactly. It's like and so yeah, when they don't lean into it, that's when I'm like, cowards.
Like that's why I want those cheesy Taco Bell commercials where
Taco Bell learn a lesson from Josh Trank. All right, Trank it up.
Trank it. That's our next shirt. Trank it up.
Okay, so I want a soda. I want a soda that makes you crazy, like Trank, and it's called purple Trank.
Purple Trank.
Purple Trank. So, Elite Praetorian says that Kenobi is confirmed to have 6. I always heard it was 6, but I never heard it confirmed, for the record. But Darth Maximus, he's just a happy guy. Elite Praetorian, he's laughing his ass off. That's what kind of episode this is. So D'Angelo asks, any truth to the rumors of a Finn Disney Plus series? So I don't know who originally reported it. Not trying to start a fight with anybody, not trying to debunk anybody or give anybody a bad time. I asked around. I was told there is nothing that any source of mine knows about Finn having a series coming to Disney Plus right now. So on my side of things, doesn't sound true. But I also don't want to pretend to know everything or that I, because I can't.
I do that. I pretend to know everything. And then everyone immediately, like, you debunk me. You just don't even finish sentences. What do you know?
Is there a Finn series coming out?
Huh? Yeah. There's a Finn trilogy coming out. right. And yeah. Huckle Finn, Tom. Yeah.
Huckle Finn.
Tom Skywalker.
Chuckleberry Finn.
There you go.
I believe, though, for what it's worth, that he'll be back. I don't know when. I could be wrong, but like I don't know. I like him a lot, and I hope he has a really, really great career.
It's called Jedi Traitor. He betrays Rey, and he's forever known as the traitor. And or he becomes a traitor. Trader, right?
Yeah. No, I believe that no one is too big to come back. I don't care what they say. I think shit talking, saying you want Disney Plus me and stuff like that is a bargaining chip. I think he already got in his hand J.J. Abrams. I believe my theory is J.J. made him force sensitive or confirmed it to give him a hand to play because they knew fans would expect it to come. And I think Finn was shortchanged on his potential for his character. I think John Boyega's talent was also shortchanged in that. And that there was a tacit acknowledgement of it when they gave him the Force, when they said, yeah, he has it. And in doing that, they gave him a hand. And I think he put another card in his hand by saying, you won't Disney Plus me, not interested. And because eventually people are going to keep asking for it, keep wanting it, the rumors will continue. And when it does happen, I think he's going to get paid. And Ewan
McGregor literally talked shit about Attack of the Clones at the premiere of Moulin Rouge.
Yeah.
You
Like,
know, clones
of the title. He was like
the title,
what?
but that's what I'm saying. Like the
nobody told him. Nobody
but
told him.
still, bro. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
anytime someone says, "What do you think about the name of the Star Wars?" You go, "Oh, sounds great." Move on. Like I don't.
Yeah, something like that happened to BJ Smooth, the guy from who's in the Spider-Man movie or whatever. The guy from that Larry David show I can't remember the title of right now. Curb Your Enthusiasm. Yeah, they were like, "Oh, which Spider-Man are you happy to see back?" or something like that. And he was like, "Oh, Tobey Maguire," thinking it was out there from that, and that was like, yeah, they like fooled him.
Baby Smooth.
But that's kind of, you know, a little bit different, but kind of that's the same kind of thing that happened to Ewan McGregor. They threw a title out that to him, he just thought it was some internet rumor that he gets asked every day about internet rumors and then reacted honestly to it. I do love that title. It is shit, but it's also so crazy and unique that like, I'm like, yeah, I kind of like it. It grew on me. Phantom Menace, I remember the first time I heard that one, I was like, whoa, I don't fucking get it. This movie's going to blow my mind.
What is the menace?
You know what I mean? I was like, this
I
so
still
weird.
like the title. I just,
yeah,
you know, like it's one of those things where the script needs some punch up.
Yeah.
So much phantom in the script.
But now I have to say, like, I mean, I've always been a prequel guy. I've always been a defender and a lover of them. But I will say now, even more so that we have these more mainstream Hollywood depictions of Star Wars, I appreciate his batshittiness even more. When I say batshittiness, that's on purpose. It's a bit shitty and it's batshit. I think it's good though. You know what I mean? It's like, it's kind of like there's this like shoestring held together quality to George Lucas's stuff. You know what I mean? It always feels like an arts and crafts project.
Oh, by hook or by crook, you know, I'm gonna get that plot.
He's Indiana Jones holding it together to the last second.
Yeah, it just makes that shit like go together even when it doesn't. Like he's the
it's
will.
like a 50s B movie. It needs to be like a 50s science fiction B movie. You know?
My hot rod
it has to be that.
You know the old saying, you need a little bit of pressure to make a diamond, and he was under the pressure, and he's going to make a diamond.
Diamonds. I'm clenching them.
He's like Cameron from Ferris Bueller, which is on my mind tonight. Ever since I said Mia Sarah, I'm like, oh, it's my.
I once too drove a Porsche out a window.
But yeah. Anyways,
Ferrari.
Where I was going with it though is that I think that the Finn series will happen. I also think, and this is like over time. I'm not saying next year or something like that.
I'd say 5 years, maybe.
I think that the desire to see Ben Solo resurrected is, it sounds out there, but I think they'll do it. I can see a story happening where Finn and Rey are together doing their Jedi stuff, and maybe it isn't overtly sexual, but they're together, and then this idea of bringing him back is gonna it's gonna be in the way.
But in this one, he's Ben Solana. So.
It's Ben Solana.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So for the record, in Star Wars, we have the concept of Nelith, Luke Skywalker's long lost sister, who was in the outer reaches of space to be safe in case he fails. She's going to come back and kick ass. And then now we have Solana. And the other one, what was the other one? Solani.
I know. So weird. So weird you put those names right next to one another too in like the script, you know?
Yeah, it's highly questionable. You know, it's
Darth Sullust had been.
Well, I'm probably wrong, but I get the vibe that they were like, you know, Solana is so overtly like that. You know, it's so overtly Solo and Organa put together. Man, we shouldn't do that. They come up with Solani, and then they're like, no, well, I still like it. Like never Annie. Throw an idea away.
Is it Solo and Annie of that? So that's Solani.
Solani.
Hey, are you okay? Are you okay, Annie? Annie, you okay?
I made that joke not too long ago. I was saying if you actually no, what it was is the Venom 2 trailer. You cut it to alien ant farms, and you put "Are you okay, Eddie?" and that whole thing. Just it culminates in the perfection of the early 2000s marketing.
God,
I
early
don't-
2000s music
God, I
sucked.
don't want to see that movie at all.
A little shine down for you. A little alien ant farm for you.
Yeah. It burns.
Makes you yearn for Creed, don't it?
No, no, it
Well,
doesn't.
in comparison, like
Oh, it burns. It burns. For an analogy. So Justin says that Jon Favreau's warning about deep fake in the latest gallery was interesting. His blockchain analogy left me pondering the future. Yeah, I definitely think that kind of some kind of verification process for things needs to get worked out.
And they don't need to be
everything.
like burning through 1 million,
but
watts an hour to do it. Like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, but yeah, for sure. And that's, by the way, how earlier I was talking about quantum computing and stuff like that. Well, one of the first processors that they have right now that's working is 10 times faster and uses 10 times less power. That's what I heard. Than the current process. So
that's what I heard.
it's what I heard. Well, it was a representative from the company whose name I can't recall was selling the idea, and I was like, "Are you telling the truth? Because I don't know." You know what I mean?
Sorry if I just don't believe tech bros and the magic of. I really believe that the magic of technology is a giant like Ponzi scheme.
Yeah.
Like remember when Amazon Air was announced and then everyone threw their money into Amazon and then they dissolved that company in 2 years, or HoloLens. It's not that these technologies can't exist, but there's a certain reality to life that they don't exist in. And when I hear it, it just feels like some giant, like it reminds me of Wolf of Wall Street when they're selling those penny stocks on the phone to people.
Yeah.
Like it's very similar to that.
Justin's all came for the Star Wars, stayed for the quantum computing. Good night, folks. Good night, Justin. Thanks for coming by, dude. And Dell says that Ben Solo lives. Do it. Do it.
Is that the Dell guy?
Well, one of the things, the Oculus future is in a lot of trouble right now because of Facebook was basically doing the monopoly shit. The do not compete stuff was coming because what they were doing is they're just buying companies and then absorbing them, which is the same thing as a monopoly. And if this case goes forward, which it sounds like it's going to, the Oculus Quest is probably going to have to get sold off or just gonna go away. And
they should keep that and get rid of Facebook.
I agree. Yeah,
but
that's bad for the future of Star Wars VR, because Oculus, I think, are the people that are paying for the ILM X Labs to make those games. They just want those exclusives on the Quest up front.
I just don't see that being a monopoly, given that Valve and Sony, everyone has their own set. They're just the only ones that have been really successful with it because it's standalone.
They're buying up companies and then not innovating on it. They're just buying it up, and that stifles innovation. Is what
they're just holding the patents.
It basically, instead of they're just like, oh, your competition, we'll just buy you, pretend that you're a different company, absorb you, say goodbye to you, and now you don't exist. Competition eliminated. That's against the law. But but yeah. Anyways, well, I feel like we have now exhaustively covered the Duel of the Fates. I mean,
thank God.
The best. Yeah, I mean, it's there now though, with our shit jokes.
Hold on, there
forever.
may be one little extra thing, and that's when the trailer for Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga came out today. And there's a great chance there might be a Lego scene where they rip out guts. Like, we can still get it, right? And it's Lego 3PO, and it's just like silly string being ripped out.
Terribly sorry about all of this.
When you rip out an 8-bit cassette tape, or 8-bit, that's how dumb I am, right? 8-bit, not even 8-track, but like a cassette tape from the 80s. It's just pulling out the.
So, really quickly though, I feel like we should just be comprehensive here. We talked about it already, but just at the end here is that Jack Thorne draft. It was a completely different story, completely different stuff. But the main like takeaway from it, the big part was that Rey in that story the other draft that I believe was made for Trevorrow, but he didn't want it. Is how I think it goes, anyways. Rey was the daughter of the maid to the Solos, and so she lived
like, hey,
Solo is the dad, huh?
It could happen, you know. Things happen. People bend over, they clean, and things happen.
I always like too that she just like the maid was just like a lady. It was like your Arnold Schwarzenegger. You could just like drive by on the street and honk your horn, and a bikini babe would get
it proves
in.
he's human. You know, like he proves he's human, right?
It proves he's as disgusting as the rest of us.
I have a beautiful wife, but sometimes when she's clean, she does not look her best, and she goes, "Now?" I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know what it is." Like, you know, like I got Arnie. At least you're my wife, you know.
I don't know why. I want her. She's so real.
Every time Arnie gets really sly, I imagine he goes to that Jackie Mason voice from Caddyshack too.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Hey.
You wanted to clean up the stuff, and then what am I supposed to do here? Yeah, I make a mess of myself, but
it's so terrible. But I love the opening of that movie when he's like, there's like the construction company. He's just making chaos. It's great.
Oh, Caddyshack too.
Caddyshack too. Yeah,
I'm a fan of Caddyshack too. A lot of people aren't, but
I am too. I'm all about it. Darth Maximus says he appreciates the daily streams. That was very entertaining. Thanks, dude. I'm glad that you had fun. We annoyed some people, but if you don't annoy people, you're not doing it right, I say. Anyway, so Rey is the daughter of the maid. Kylo essentially grows up with her being sort of like his like little sister that he never has. The parents, Leia and Han, are never home. They're off doing space adventure stuff. Rey's mom ends up kind of like being like his mother. Something happens to the mother. Rey is, I think the mother dies like in a natural way or something. I can't remember now. Unfortunately,
it's her heart.
Rey is, yeah. I mean, like I read all of these at the same time, so it's like, you know, it took us how many fucking days to go over that last draft, and then this 2 hours to do the notes on the second draft. It's like it was a lot, but anyways, yeah. So she is then lost. Kylo turns, as we know, goes to the dark side, and then when he runs into her again, he's like, oh, it's her. You know what I mean? It's and she's kind of the one who brings him back to the family, and they end up in a duel in the Solo house, in like the Solo manor. And you see, I remember one of the things mentioned, like the pictures of them, you know, and stuff like that.
The fuzzy dice. You know, like,
yeah.
Did they have that photo of that 80s one of Carrie and Ben? And
right. Yeah.
I love that one. I'm going to get that in my hallway. That's the first. This is going to be our family photos and that one. That's the one I want.
I mean, on one hand, though, I give it a lot of credit for essentially taking the Emperor's throne room and putting it in a house. Like this was, I mean, it was very intimate. I don't think audiences would have felt it was epic enough, but it was way more personal, strange. And yeah, and you know, I think I don't want to say too much, but I don't think he had a good time writing that movie.
Jack Thorne.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, so it ends up, you end up in this place where they wrote a lot of drafts before we got to the JJ stuff. JJ was sitting on a mountain of ideas when he went to make his movie. And so now that you may know what those ideas are and you watch that movie, I guess the question to ask yourself was this the best job you could have done? I've already said my piece, but I think it's a fair question. And a lot of the more interesting ideas, I think there were more interesting ideas on the table than ended up in the film, than ended up in The Rise of Skywalker. And JJ should not have, like I always say, shouldn't have played a little bit of the ambiguity game. It's just a little bit of cowardice in that.
I'm completely burnt out on that game of his. I've given it enough. Yeah. And not just with Skywalker or The Force Awakens. Star Trek Into Darkness, again, he pulled a weird bunch of moves on that one that, although I loved the cast and the movie's enjoyable on that level for me, the story is super like, what are you doing? And then Super 8's another one where he's like, oh, I won't really define this alien. And I'm like, you can't make Close Encounters.
I could not follow that. I just did not like that.
I still think that's his best movie.
And I do too.
I don't think it's perfect. No. But I think it's his best movie.
Yeah, but the alien thing is just something he just waffles on, and I don't understand. I don't know where that comes from. I just don't. It's just what he does, and I don't.
Yeah, well,
hold on. When he wrote that Superman script, he was pretty like, it was like defined. Here's what's happening. You know, like the one from 2003, the original Man of Steel, where Luthor was a CIA agent, ex-Kryptonian, and Superman actually dies, but Jor-El brings him back from the netherworlds. It's a crazy script, but it's definitive. Yeah. You don't wonder what happened. So I don't know. And even in Mission Impossible 3, that's pretty a definitive film. You know, like it doesn't like waffle. So I don't know what happened between Mission Impossible 3 and Super 8 and all that stuff. I don't
know. Those like the Mission Impossible things just aren't my kind of film. So it didn't stick. And I like the first Star Trek. The second Star Trek.
I'd probably say Mission Impossible 3 is better than Super 8, though.
Yeah.
Philip Seymour Hoffman's a fantastic villain.
Oh, yeah,
and they do some good
great actor.
And the dynamics of the entire team really work versus like him being like Tom Cruise being like a solo superhero in the second film, right?
Yeah.
Like he's this perfect dark. There's even a perfect dark sequence in that film. It's so funny. He's like Joanna Dark in that movie. But in Mission Impossible 3, it's really good. So I would say that's his best film.
Well, you know, like I had to write an article at one point about the mystery box, what the concept was, because articles were misusing it to such an extent that the fans started to misuse it. And everybody just thought it means you don't know anything. Oh, I'm so confused. I'm lost. And it is a lesson I think that was probably learned from Lost is don't say too much. The fans will fill in the ambiguity with what they love. The mystery then pulls you in and it takes you along. But the problem is that in the ninth fucking film, he's still doing it. And those just weren't moments there. It was, oh, sure. It's a mystery how Palpatine came back. It's a fucking mystery. So now you have to actually solve that shit, Sherlock, and tell us what it was, because if you want us to go with you on the story and buy into it wholeheartedly, we need a good explanation. Poe Dameron going, oh shit, he's back. I don't know, but it ain't good. That's just,
I'll tell you what the mystery box is.
Lazy.
The mystery box, my friend, is the Taco Bell special where you either get a 10-pack of beef supreme burritos or 10 packs of cinnamon sticks. It's the mystery box.
Yeah, right.
You know, it's you don't know what you're gonna get. It's a 10 of something.
What the Taco Bell boxes are for people that are high, and no one would ever buy those items individually. But if you put 3 or 4 of them together, like, wow. It's a grab bag like the ice cream truck when I was a kid.
It's your 4 a.m. munchie meal.
It's a Takis Supreme. It's just it's beef and Takis.
But I'm not going to lie. When I get to episode 9, the end of a trilogy, I want a fucking Nacho Bel Grande, motherfucker. Not a cheesy crunch tomato jalapeno with Fritos in it. Supreme crunch.
See, you gotta know how my dad eats. My dad got the soft steak the steak fajita Taco Bells back in the day, but then we had to drive to Jack in the Box and get the cheesecake. So it's like, you know, he had to have cheesecake and fajitas, and that's why he passed away at 59, because he taught the absolute worst eating habits known to man.
My daughter, they were having a promotion for about 3 or 4 months where cheesecake was 99 cents at Jack in the Box.
Oh no.
And so I was like, we would go out and I would buy her one, you know. I would be like, okay, you want to go do this? And she'd be like, can I get a cheesecake? And I'd be like, yeah. So every couple of days I would like let her get one. But now those days are over, friend. Cheesecake is full price. And this kid's asking for cheesecake like 2 years later. And I'm like, no, not buying you. I'm not buying you
$3.99.
$3.49. This is, I ain't making cheesecake kind of bucks. You crazy?
Well, there was a time you could order anything on that menu at any time at Jack in the Box. So I would go in there and get these French toast sticks, right? I go to the drive-thru, I go French toast sticks, and this voice who sounded like what's her Charo from like the 70s? She goes,
yeah,
would you like cheesecake with that? And I was like,
what did she say? Like chicky or some shit?
Yeah,
it was like,
she was like, would you like cheesecake with that? And I had to stop. I'm like, do I? I mean, I know it's 9 a.m. and I'm already ordering French toast, but cheesecake.
Yeah.
I had to think about it like, smooth move, Charo. Like, probably shouldn't.
in high school, me and Randy were innovators, and we really wanted the sourdough jack, but that cost $3. But in high school,
so good.
A jumbo jack was 99 cents.
Yes, it was.
And so they had a policy back then that you can get sourdough bread. You could just ask for it. They didn't charge you for it. So we would do it, and then you were able to get bacon for 25 cents. So what we would do, and then you could change the cheese for 25 cents. For $1.50, we would have a jumbo jack converted into the sourdough jack.
Jason, we would have been excellent friends. When I worked at Playco, they had a Jack in the Box across the street. I would go there every day. I'd ask for 4 jumbo jacks, hot off the grill, extra mayo, extra mustard. And these women would look at me because I was like $1.50, like, you can't eat this. I'm like, not only am I going to eat this, extra large soda, right? You watch. Hot off the grill. But had I known you could convert them to sourdough jacks, Jesus.
Yep. They eventually shut it down. Like 2 years later, probably. They wouldn't let you do that anymore. They caught on. But yeah, it was a good time. But so anyways, there was a lot of potential stories here. I hope that I don't know how things go, but like for instance, if they were to like ideas in these scripts, they can't just take it. They have to give credit.
Well,
I
don't know how the WGA works.
No, it's how it works.
Is that how it works? So if they put Mortis in a season of Ahsoka, right? Do they have to get story credit to Devin Connolly? And
no. Well, like Mortis was created by George Lucas, so that's why you get the blanket Star Wars created by George Lucas sort of title in the opening of things all the time. I think that covers that. But when there's like unproduced stuff, I guess one question that I have that I want to look up really quickly while we're on the stream was, did Colin Trevorrow get credit for episode 9? You know what I mean? So Rise of Skywalker writers. I'm curious if they got writing credit or not. Yes, they did. Story by Derek Connolly, Colin Trevorrow. Yeah, they got credit. So that makes sense. Screenplay by Chris Terrio and J.J. Abrams. Story by Derek Connolly, Colin Trevorrow, J.J. Abrams, and Chris Terrio. So in the end, they do get a credit as having storied a Star Wars film.
Trevorrow's like, not my script,
not mine. But well, we're going about 3 hours here, so I think we'll end this one. But when we get past 8 o'clock, I'm just ready to party, you guys.
Yeah, that 2 to 4 is nice because it forces you to end the show.
Right? I'm like,
I do like that we won't have to deal with Duel of the Fates for quite a while.
We won't.
We've gotten it all out, right, Thrawn?
That's right.
Okay.
We just laid everything out on the table. We just unzipped and we put the script in the Mortis and it's all there. You can all just look at it and go, damn, I wish I had a piece of that.
And
that was mine.
You wanted to stick your Mortis in another hole.
Don't worry. Duel of the Fates is going to be the next season of Fortnite. It's going to be all Duel. It's going to be Wommels. Wommels for everybody. You're all going to get Wommels.
and notice that Thorn did not get a credit.
Yeah, well, him and that dude from Attack of the Clones. We don't care about him.
All right.
Who was that guy that helped Lucas? That guy.
What, Rick McCollum?
No, the guy who fucking literally wrote some of the script on Attack of the Clones.
Oh, wait, no. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's another guy, man.
Yeah. He wrote on Young Indie.
Yeah.
And then the guy who wrote Rosencrantz and whatever are dead. Yeah, he wrote Revenge of the Sith with Lucas. He did a dialogue pass. So, all right. Anyways, this is the last time I get to use this for the time being, so I'm gonna use it.
It's not about spaceships.
The Duel of the